Hello and welcome back. We will be continuing our Germany run. Now, I can't remember exactly kind of where we left off, because it's been a little while since we played it, but this is kind of our, trying to get our feet under us type of thing. Man, we have so much more construction than we do in the Japan run. Japan, we're in 1900, or I just recorded the episode that ended in 1900, and on about like 1K construction, and Germany's really way more cranked up here at like a similar, actually earlier, and so, I mean, it makes sense, but, here we are. We are in the 1.5 open beta, of course, and so there's a lot of kind of new and or different stuff going on. Looks like we do not have a war. We maybe want to find a war. We're kind of big strong, which is also big nice. I am like not really the UI for how like this stuff is organized, I have not been thrilled with, but of course that is a feature or product of the open beta. What are we researching here? Plastics. That makes sense. We are... Ooh, East India Company is a part of us. I'm sure that was a worthy exchange. We definitely want to get onto some rice, though. So the question is how big is our market? And can we just annex the East India Company? Because the more I play around with the rice, the more I realize how nice the rice is. And we would love to acquire some places where we could add some rice. Which of course will be nice. We are, so I think Sind is, if I'm not mistaken, this place. Also in general, like, it's pretty obnoxious, but we almost always run, we almost always, like, it's very hard to turn on these PMs, and you have to, like, locally baby them, and overall not thrilled with like the state of affairs where we have to like locally baby the transport and this type of stuff. What the heck happened to the economy? What do you mean? Economy's doing great. Economy's doing great. What do you mean? We're getting turned up. What do you mean what happened to the economy? Economy is fantastic. I don't know what you're talking about. This place produces wheat. We need the rice farms. Economy is getting turned up. We are losing a ton of money. I forget what we did to do this. Maybe we just like doubled construction and we actually can't afford this level of construction. I'm kind of tempted to annex the East India Company though. I wish we could annex parts of it at a time. This would be preferable. Let's see if we can get anyone in our customs union before we engage in any sort of madness. Okay, we can't. We're damaging relations with a lot of people. And I'm assuming these are all protectorates. This is one of them. Scandinavia is one. Oh, we can annex Scandinavia. Get some nice looking borders. I don't think that'll do too much for us. We can, we can't go after Mexico. I assume we have an obligation. Oh, looks like we are trying to steal the Chinese pops to change them to our customs union. Whose customs union are they in? Well, if we slap around Italy, maybe this is something we can do to make them think. To make them worse. I guess we're gonna rival them too. Well, let's see if we can get trade agreements too. South Africa, Serbia, not too good. How can I fix mid-game economy? Is this a 1.5 question or not? Like, if nothing has high demand, so you can't increase your GDP, generally you just add construction, and that will create demand. I mean, I kind of just want to annex this and get going on the rice. I think this is going to be best. It's going to be nice. It should suffice. I mean, I suppose let's just take a save. We haven't even unpaused the game, but we're going to take a save. This way, there's just a Germany save at the top of the thing, because we have been, or I have been recording Japan episodes, kind of, I did a few today. So we'll try and do this. We get Nagpur here. I think the downside, though, is once we get really high infamy, people are really not going to want to join in with us. We are going to send the Grand Army as well over here, as well as the 70 stacks armies. Except for, I think we're just going to relocate the 70 stacks, and we'll keep them here. And then that way we can do a landing with them, and we'll move some of these fleets and have them sit over here. Why can't we have them sit over there? They're at the English Channel. Okay, deploy to sea node. Alright. There we go. Deploy to seed node. But to kind of answer your question a little bit more completely, at least the construction one, when you build a bunch of construction centers, you create buy orders for these goods, and then when you build, driving up their price, giving you opportunity for more profitable industries. When you build these things, the proportion of your economy that's now not consumer goods increases, which is going to increase the price of consumer goods, and then you build the consumer goods. And so, like, this is a good one. Do Germany World War II borders? Dead. I don't think this run is like equipped for that. We needed to like prep that type of thing a long time ago, I think. I was playing as Italy. The first World War ticked off, and they were fighting Austria, and they got some Austrian lands, and then they Balkanized because of cut down to size, and it made curse borders. It do be Balkanized sometimes. Spain is embargoing us. This is unfortunate. France is embargoing us. Unfortunate. Hopefully we don't eat too many embargoes. I swear we won't be naughty after this. We get Bhutan kind of doing stuff. And then what were we planning on doing? I'm sure we were planning on selecting what we were going to kind of go after this. But I'm just shocked at how much further ahead we are now than the Japan run. The Japan run was actually kind of really scuffed because we missed, with the first 30 years we just kept missing passing agrarianism, and I think traditionalism is just catastrophically bad. French Republic sides, and the kebab sides too, yuck. And we can't sway Great Britain. We could sway these guys with transfer subjects. Who do they want? They want the... Well, I mean, we don't necessarily hate it. I think these guys are just protectorates. They are just a protectorate, so we could give that up. I think we win this war solo bolo, though, right? Maybe we don't. Evaluating wars is also just way harder. Maybe we do need a little bit of help. This is kind of a lot of troops, but like Japan's not necessarily that scary. We probably will put in war reparations or something on Japan. Certainly open their market. Not gonna dominion them. But I think we take war reps off of France and war reps off of Japan. Also, we've seen just wildly inconsistent mobilization numbers from multiple kind of areas, which is like not necessarily okay. Where's the Lizzie? What do you mean Lizzie? Oh, okay, usually you got stagnated, but I'll try this out. Yeah, construction's like just the driver of everything, basically. Like, when in doubt, like, when you have no idea what you do, you just add construction for the most part. I don't know what you mean by Lizzie, though, Joey. What are we currently constructing? Looks like we have just a lot of autocue kind of taking over and not really focusing on anything. Maybe we put in... I'm actually kind of partial to the gold company, because you'll be virtually guaranteed their bonus, and I think 10% minting is like not inconsequential because it's going to give us like 20 to 30k. We're currently making this much from minting with 4 of these bonuses. I guess we don't have fully maxed out in Versailles and Tyrol, but also when we have this company on, let's just see if we have, yeah, we have gold that we can expand, so let's just do that as well. And these will build relatively quickly because we're on the company now, so this will be big nice. Or, I mean, if not big nice, medium nice, right? Something like this. Really popped off in Japan when we kind of sunk that one in. I don't think we can afford... I would really like graduated taxation. What tax are we on right now? We're on per capita. Alright, we're just going to take the minus chance, and I think this is going to kill our thing. Right? And then maybe we go proportional, or maybe we just... oh no, wait, we're in sponsorship phase. Designate strategic objective, that's designated. This is kind of designated, alright. Where's our army that's over here, though? I know we have more than one army over here. I mean, we assigned some. Okay, so they're still kind of going out. How many companies do we have? I think we have 5 or 6. Let's check. We're 6. So we have Rheinmetall, agricultural, oh wait. We have Krupp, premium foods, which is kind of probably one we're going to disband. Radicals, or sorry, Fine Arts Tire. We have this one, and this one. We're almost certainly going to keep these two permanently. Nice little chunk of cash. But we're gonna land over here with kind of, I think, a bigger army. Yeah, so these guys are heading, so probably it's 43 stack, right? And then with another stack, we're gonna land Normandy with another 40 stack. How do we have so many companies? You unlock companies in... We've already gone for macroeconomics. We kind of rushed it down. Mainly because we wanted that sweet 95 MAPI, dude. We wanted the sweet nothings of a 95 MAPI. The world's a better place with 95 MAPI, to be honest. And so, that is how/why. So I think these two guys will get in, and then we'll get to push into East India Company there. Alright, we're going to... Oh, I guess we does... I thought that would cancel your law if it's still in sponsorship, but we get to redo the thing, I guess. So that's kind of preferable. Let's see, who is... Alright, we have 60 more maneuvers. I think that... You know, if we're going to... we should have declared another interest in Occitania. Wait, well, we have an interest in Occitania. Why can't we release Occitania? I think they have taken out some of the liberates, to be honest. It seems like they have taken quite a few of these out. We would not mind... Maybe we live Brittany? This doesn't really feel all that great. But it's just a little bit more to do. I suppose it's going to make it harder to enforce on France. Maybe that was a mistake. Actually, it's probably a mistake. We have another guy coming in this way. But we're going to look to land... Why do we have a French front? I don't really understand. This is not German dirt. It's East India Company dirt, so... If they keep it the way it is, do you think it's good to rush macro? Yes. Although... macro, I mean, my sample size is super small on this, and there's like confounding variables as to how good it is. Like, getting macro did not feel as good as getting the other one. It did not feel as good as getting the other 5% one, even though mathematically I think it should make more of a difference. I'm not 100% sure how the math is supposed to work, but I'm gonna send in here, and we should have someone. So we don't want North Germany, but we do have this guy at the North India front, and we will maybe land with this guy, Arabian Sea, into the North India front guy. So we'll have 2 of these guys push in, and then we will land on D-Day on Normandy. And so this guy's Gulf of Mexico. We'll send the Gulf of Mexico guy, and then we'll send the guys stationed in the North German Fed. And so this will hopefully turn out alright. That's a lot of conquest, at least for me. How's your infamy? It's like 70 right now, just because this specifically. I mean, we got Brazil like as a protectorate, and then we dominioned them, protectorate and then dominion, protectorate and then dominion. So we haven't accrued too much infamy. We've actually been at 0 infamy for good chunks of this run, because we're just kind of trying to figure out the patch, you know, more than anything. You know, saves coming a decent amount, like this type of thing. You know, when like the wars are just absolutely psychotic or weird, or like this type of thing. You down with SDP? Maybe you know me. Maybe we actually decrease taxes a notch here. Or we could increase taxes a notch. The far better solution. But the reason to maybe decrease taxes a notch is because we're close to the next tier of legitimacy. And so this would help to generate more bonuses. This is kind of where we're running into, like when we, with the run we just saved or loaded, rather, the Japan run. So, which of course, obviously, we were doing not on here, but wow, we really have to. Oh, come on. We have a front there, guys. Jesus. Okay, that's stupid. We're on this front and we're pushing, but it's bugged out now. And hopefully we... looks like maybe we need to conscript a little bit. So we'll activate a few of these conscription centers. I think we're... I don't remember all the areas. The conscription centers are just super, like, non-intuitive. So we'll just activate a smattering of them, though. To maybe get a little bit more juice into here. Sulawesi's trying to sway us. They will become our protectorate. I think we'd rather sway... Well, we're trying to... No, we're trying to get on Qing and do our customs union maybe at some point, eventually, sometime. And so we would like to not do that. But it looks like... Well, it looks like we're doing okay. That's kind of yikes with army offense. TBH, temporary embarrassment. That army is embarrassing. So, could either go to 1%. I think we're going to decrease the taxes, but then we're just going to up the taxes. And I think it's like a bit of a wash, something like this. I saw that getting puppets and dominions in your market, flood them with your goods, seems broken, I think. In general, I mean, like, they have buy orders, and this drives up the price of, like, stuff in your market, allowing more stuff to get profitable, and then you could, as a player, get better economies of scale and construct more than the AI, and so, like, you can satisfy this demand, and it's generally better to have expensive prices versus cheap prices, although medium prices are actually, like, optimal, except not on every industry, only on some, but that's, like, kind of a lot to try and unpack all at once. I guess we're getting pushed out slowly, so maybe we have a think here. I mean, maybe we activate a bunch of conscripts. We're not even using all of our army yet, though, so maybe we should actually just start using the rest of our army. Just the fact that naval invasions currently are absolutely... or how should I put this? The naval invasions are really dumb right now, because they get in automatically, and then there's a delay for your guy getting to the front, and so they're all kinds of weird. You have to, like, move guys to the front, and then, or near the front, and then put on the thing. Did we add a bunch of government admins to increase some of this? I guess we're going for high workplace safety, something like this. Oh, you know what? We probably need higher home affairs in the Japan run. I literally just came from recording the Japan run episode, so I'm kind of, my head's kind of in that run. But here, see, we land instantly, nobody's there, and then someone arrives later. So, currently very, not exactly as intended. Also, the fact that you can get in and full occupy a state is a bit of a problem, right? So, I don't think we want to use our last landing, because then we'll be out of landings. Oh no, wait, we still have this one, right? So what are you? What's your deal? You're a royalist. You're a royalist. You're a pacifist. Sure, we'll take the pacifist guy, I guess. And so now we should be able to land with that 1 stack, right? I think we'll land with the 3 stack instead. But we'll just land and look to open up more fronts on them. Opposition puts forth demands. We'll acquiesce. This is a nice event for us to roll, because now we're going to have a pretty good shot at getting graduated taxation, which is going to be nice. Yeah, we've just been kind of sitting. Why are we not decaying them super fast, though? Have we just been eating fat dick? They're getting -2. We're getting -3.4 because we've had more casualties relative to the size. Because we didn't full conscript. Can they enforce us below 0? They cannot, because they cannot live Portugal. So I guess we're just going to be biting our nails a lot. Activate a few more conscription centers, which will make us decay slower. Because by increasing the amount of guys who are actually conscripted, this decreases the proportion that you have casualtied out. And so this is the kind of the way, but we just have to avoid them getting on the capital. Classic loud car outside. They should bring back war how it worked in Vicky 2. I didn't play Vicky 2, so I can't comment too much to that. I don't like what they've done with 1.5, as empires from this time period had their takeovers, had their overs take in finished goods. Had their orders taken finished goods like tools and trains and imported food, not how they have to see 1.5 set up. I disagree. It seems, so generally speaking, the PMs on, I didn't consent to this. Ooh, this guy doesn't, yeah, we're not even using all our... Yikes, I didn't even realize this was happening from Egypt. Thanks, Egypt. I think we're gonna move this guy over here. But this is big yikes. Opposite of big nice. But so... I mean, maybe I could pull it up in here. The PMs, right, for, God, I hate when people are freaking do that with their cars outside. But we can talk about PMs for just a second here, which I think is going to be useful. So if we just jump in and we take a look at some of the margins, you know, if you are running like, if you are heavily negatively influenced by MAPI, that's going to increase the price of your inputs and decrease the price of your outputs, right? And so if this is too insurmountable and the net starts to become not enough to cover wages, then you encounter a little bit of a problem, right? These PMs haven't been updated yet. And you can see some of these are relatively tight. Like, for example, steel in particular is a good example, because you look, electric arc, you know, the margins here, it's 1700 is a decent margin, but in a percentage-wise, it's a bit tight, because this is more than 2/3, right, of the input's more than 2/3 of the output, and so this is why you could never depress steel prices to like -40 or something insane. And so, but for agricultural goods, the margins are absolutely enormous. Like, if we take a look at, you know, 1800 versus 450, you know, it's quite big. And even more so with plantations, where it's like nearly 7x instead of, you know, 2/3. Or, sorry, it's like, instead of like 150% output versus input, now it's like 700%. And so this means you can tolerate a much more negative effect from MAPI and still have a margin by which you can use to employ laborers, and also they generally have a lower average wage type of thing. And so as a result of all this, you know, you can generally speaking, you can tolerate being negatively influenced by MAPI and still like have employable buildings more on the when you're importing like inputs like agricultural stuff. But what you can't tolerate as much is like producing tools in a spot where you don't have steel, you know? I can't believe cars like that are legal. They're so fucking loud. But yeah. Do you think that free trade got nerfed due to MAPI? Yes, 100%. All levels of trade, like trade, the positive effects of trade are just like decreased by MAPI. Yeah. Bro, ain't no way to have that economy before 1900. How? Stonks, dude. I thought you were calling the economy small, to be honest. This is like, if we were on 1.3 or 1.4, this would be not a very good score. The economy is much slower on 1.5. Vroom vroom, yeah. Put your honks in chat. Yeah, that's just so loud, man. So they can't decay us below 0, so they won't be able to live Portugal. And so we'll just like slow enforce on them. This is gonna feel like kind of dirty though. I don't think we ever enforce on France and enjoy it, although my brand is probably less about enjoyment and more about trying to play correctly. Like most of the people in like my Discord and stuff. It's funny to see like what the people in my Discord think of like the community writ large, because it's like they often disagree on a lot of things, and I think it's interesting. I think that was a bike though. I don't think so. I think that was a car. I think that was I mean, I could be mistaken. It sounded like a car to me. Bikes don't have as much like resonance. They get the volume, but there's like more pitch and less resonance. But like I'm also not an expert on bikes versus cars and this type of stuff. 1900 max was 100 million in Brazil, dead ass. Yeah, well, Brazil's a much worse start than Prussia, to be fair. Like, way worse. And you could still hear them in the background like 2 blocks away. Yeah, they were just like, I don't know. They were like revving it for some chick or some like insipid shit. Alright, so which one of these guys can we afford to piss off? Because we already really have their bonus sunk in. Looks like the, this guy. Gottlieb. Alright, that's fine. We get a guy who gets field promotion. Do we get a role here? Oh, we get on to voting. Big nice. Big nice, big nice. Because the game is slower of MAPI, laissez-faire is nerfed. No, laissez-faire is better. Laissez-faire is even better. You're in a band where it's good for longer. They set up weird makes over seats and triad redundant. I don't know what that means. Are you talking about, if that's car thing, that's kind of outside my purview, to be honest. A little bit. So it looks like we maybe get a pushback. I really hate that you have to set a strategic objective in order to actually push. That seems like so nuts to me. But it's just like the way the game operates right now. But yeah, I actually think agrarianism might be better because of MAPI, though, Joey, which is kind of an interesting one. Like, I still think laissez-faire is better than interventionism, but like, separate discussion. Agrarianism, if you have really low MAPI, if somehow you're stuck on like, if for example you in theory weren't allowed to research, because heavy industries are more negatively affected by MAPI, if somehow it was illegal for you to research stock exchange, you know, agrarianism might actually be better, and like exporting silicon dyes and stuff. The problem is that the AI doesn't like ever construct enough that like you can like do something. So USA is setting up a fucking play against us. What? I'm guessing they're trying to get our Oregon rammed up. Alright, so I guess maybe we go compression ignition here. Compression ignition, so good. Not super I mean, I don't really care about enforcing on France. I just care about this. France almost supports it. I would like French war reps, all other things equal, so maybe we have to stay in here for a while. But it looks like they're coming in on Mexico. But maybe we can sway someone. Who we got? Mexico, us, and they want Mexican Texas. Mexis. I wish we could, Nice. We get graduated taxation. Usually it has to wait a tick to readjust here. But is it actually just killing it? Yeah, okay. It's that. I think we'll come down to lower taxes, try and get our pops happier with us. Oh, look at that max legitimacy, though. Big stonks. So we got reg bodies, women's suffrage, total separation, cultural exclusion. We want multiculturalism. We can't handle the multiculturalism, though. So I guess it's public health insurance. What is it? Minus 5% more mortality. This is 3% per wealth. So what is that? 5 divided by 0.3. Where's my phone? I don't want to do math on stream. Doing math on stream is illegal. You just like, you're instantly way worse at math. I hate doing it. So 16.67. I mean, we don't have private available right now anyways. The Industrialists don't like it, though. The Industrialists aren't very happy with us right now. I would like to get the Industrialists happy with us. Is there a way we can do this? So let's do this for now. And get... try and get onto private health insurance, because I think that overall will be a little bit better. They set up weird... Okay, I would think that local supply chain would be weak with laissez-faire. I mean... Well, so to some extent, how much you care about margins. Like, if your margins are never super, super good, which they tend to be worse with MAPI, right? Then buffing this weekly balance to pay more. I mean, maybe I would just have to take a look at what weekly balance normally looks like. If weekly balance is just overall significantly way lower, then actually maybe interventionism becomes a lot better. Yeah, so I can fight on that. I'm picking that up. I don't know why these guys were not involved. Just overall, the UI is actually, like, tremendously annoying right now. So we'll do that. I guess we have to just kind of cruise through and see, hey, do we have anybody that doesn't have a general? Because those guys will be underutilized right now if they don't have a general. Communist. Hell yeah, brother, let's go. We might go communism soon if we can. We actually, okay, allow me to rephrase. We will go communism soon if we can. So this type of stuff. Hey Les, how's it going? Hey bestie. What's the best type of government in the game? Are there any mods you like, if you use any? I like divergences, but that's like vanilla with a different start. I generally don't like to play on, mods too much. I would think a local supply chain would be weak with Lizzie. The overall nerfed... The fact that positive balance is nerfed overall and it's harder to get a high weekly balance would be why laissez-faire gets worse. So if your weekly balance was always just capped at like 1% over like the total GDP value, then laissez-faire would actually suck. But like overseas and trade and colonies are redundant in 1.5 is what I'm saying. It takes away the transportation of goods. What made time period around the world about trade and empire? I don't. So they're doing like multiple things simultaneously. Like you're gonna use companies that like eventually they're gonna make it so swapping companies isn't good. Currently it's just insane, but eventually they make it like that, and so that'll be like one thing. And then like you'll also be, colonial exploitation. They changed this patch, where now it gives 20% throughput on plantations, mines, and forestries and rubber. I think that this is pretty significant as well, like in terms of building a colonial empire and like how you're thinking about the game, because this is changing how we're like, going after some of these things. I really hate that we have to make electricity locally. I really hate the local goods change from like a playability perspective, not from like an immersion or balance perspective, but it's just absolutely a fucking nightmare to try and like... I don't know what this is about. This is on auto-expand. It's auto-expanding, and it's, we can't find the qualifications, but it's just still auto-expanding, but we need power for, like, the railway, because we're on electric railway, and it's, like, got a shortage, and, like, just, like, all this type of stuff, like, so we actually probably should be on wooden passenger carriages. Well, somehow that makes less money. I don't know why. Oh, I guess it just, this is like, anyways, the it's highly not usable, but I got distracted what I was talking about, which is that I think that colonial exploitation change does make an extraction model a little bit better, but it's like, yeah, I mean, MAPI might need some adjustments. You could imagine them tweaking the numbers as well. What I don't like about MAPI is it like depresses other people's ability to like be extracted from, which I think is maybe not the case. And so you could if it would be interesting to think if you could make it so that if you are importing from people with low MAPI, that it gives them more buy orders, for example. Like if you gave them more buy orders when you are importing from them than the actual amount of goods that you are producing, then this will produce a more profound amount. I'm actually going to write this down, but make buy orders scale. I need a piece of paper. Buy orders scale with MAPI. Buy orders inversely scale with MAPI. This way, it really encourages them to be, like, extracted from, in some sense. Because you could affect their market price more. Which would, I mean, that's interesting conceptually. I'm not sure. Does MAPI make corn laws easier? It makes corn laws impossible. Unless you're really small. Since electricity is now a local good, along with changes in construction infrastructure usage, you need to spread out construction sectors as well as electricity. As a result, right? Not really. The reason why is that so construction was nerfed. Let's take a look at how much construction is being used here. So 50 construction is being used here, right? 50 infrastructure usage, or sorry, rather as a result of our... I actually think it should be brought back to 3 because we might have 50 construction there, or infrastructure usage there, but we are getting 400 infrastructure from our lighting. The fact that the urban centers now give infrastructure from lighting is actually making it so we are basically never building railways to achieve infrastructure. We just have a glut of infrastructure in a ton of areas. And it's the result of these areas. So, numbers definitely need readjustment. The balance is, like, not there, but they admittedly have said that the balance isn't going to be there. Oh, maybe we should land. Yeah, we should be landing. We should have landed Brittany forever ago. Yeah, okay. Fair enough. This one's Western Mediterranean, so that one's kind of closest. How can I make transport more valuable in a way that won't mess with my pops? Depends what you mean by mess with your pops. If you have more buy orders, it'll become more valuable. If by valuable you mean increasing the market price of it, or the local price, because there's only local price. I wouldn't mind if maybe 5 to 10 possible MAPI was locked behind good specific technologies, like train PMs for industrial goods and preservation for food stuff. Yeah, I think overall people are upset about the MAPI, and they are upset because they feel like they're getting penalized, and like, I don't know, whether it's a penalization or a bonus for building tall, it's like the exact same side of the same coin, so... we don't really care if this one fails too much, so we're just gonna do that. We could do this. They would accept this. Can we open the Japanese market too? No, Japan hates it. That's fair. We haven't landed them, so that you cannot land with your unmobilized armies is like super asinine, to be honest. Looks like we're just going to crush the USA, though, because they don't know how to mobilize. Now might be the time to go for the Native American Territories achievement, so might take a look at that. A little opportunistic. I mean, we really would like to open their market. God, that sucks, because we're going to demobilize these guys, and we are going to move them as close to Japan as possible, and then we're going to move these guys, these torpedo boots, we're going to station them here and move them over. Hey, we got a guy who has a movement to enact council republic. That's hot. Communist. I think our guys hate it. The Junkers hate it. The Petit Bourgeoisie hate it. Everyone pretty much hates it. We could give that guy leadership of the armed forces. Holy shit, the armed forces is strong for us. And if he has leadership of the armed forces, then we could probably get it through. Maybe that's, yeah. I don't like it because local goods, like I can't make the UK workshop of the world without tanking my SOL, watching my GDP tank, and railways are pointless. What do you mean you can't make it workshop of the world? You can export stuff, you just have to make the goods even cheaper. What the why is this possible? We're not returning those. Wait, why can they force us below 0 though? Return Portuguese Sunda Islands. God, this is so stupid. They don't... Do you occupy these? My guys? Also, no idea why... I mean, France has to want their way out here, but... The fact that you cannot send a thing while a thing is, like, pending is just super stupid. You can't send a peace deal while one is pending, so we can't, like, we can't propose something different than this. We just have to literally wait or capitulate. We have to wait 8 or 9 days or whatever. And we couldn't do a landing because you can't do a landing. Oh my god. Kinda want to switch sides and capitulate. Also, where are the Sunda Islands? Are these occupied? They don't look occupied to me. So how is it that... Yeah, I mean... Stuff's a little bit broken. So we have to wait for an army to demobilize before we can land with them, which is absolutely not ideal. Cheap as they could transport lags amount do it what it wants. I don't... Okay. Shoot, wait, urban centers give infrastructure now? Yeah, they give a shitload. I actually think construction sectors should cost more, if anything. But they effectively make it so you don't worry about infrastructure anymore. Can we, like, get our guy demobilized, or what? Nope. We're just gonna be sad for forever. Wow, people are fucking out today. Jesus. That's a loud one. Do we have my Europe crowd in the... I tried to run it, the stream, like, considerably later than I kind of normally like to stream. Because the Europeans crowd was a little bit better for this one. So we have an option here. We can either switch side. We can either capitulate or switch sides and back down or whatever. So we're gonna do a vote. Because we can't land them because we can't land with a demobilized guy, and they're forcing on us even though they don't occupy the Wargle. And even if they occupy the Wargle, we wouldn't be able to land it. So we could do swap and capitulate to us, or we can just capitulate ourselves. What do? And then I'll catch up on chat while we run the poll. You guys decide our fate. They pushed 3 infra cost too early. Yeah, they should have just rolled it out with this 1.5. I think MAPI highlights a new problem for the game, or the slow tech up. If teching was closer to Vic 2, it'd be less of a problem. I don't know. We're hauling on this run. I don't know. It's not even 1900. We're researching compression ignition right now. I mean, to be fair, we're doing it decently ahead of time, but like the AI build more unis right now in terms of stuff. What things did they fix in the beta? Nothing yet, as far as I know. Although I'm seeing some like highly variable behavior now, so like I'm getting a bigger sample size for things. I don't think they updated anything though. Okay, military price and market a little more, and a little features of the EU update. Wait, was there an update? Can someone post a link? Because we were playing the Japan run, and we noticed like they actually fought back in terms of military, and we got the shit kicked out of us. What I did was set up the end good, like clothes in London, say to etc., and they send cloth and cotton back to London to make the clothes. Yeah, you can still do that. And instead, you're forced to put the clothes factory in Africa. I don't think you are. You just don't. Your profit margins aren't as good. But if you have more MAPI, it's like it's fine. I still think it's fine. I think it's fine with like clothes. I think that you cannot like build steel in Transvaal. I don't think you can build a bunch of steel here and then ship it back. You know, swap and oh, it's tied. Jesus, it's tied. What do when tied? Well, I mean, we have some time because we have this kind of situation. Oh, did we just forget to put in any sort of war rep or any fucking thing on the USA? That's kind of unfortunate. Ooh, what's going on there? American naval invasion? Rip the dream. Rip the German dream, to be honest. God, this is such a mess. I zoom in and I can't tell what's going on at all. Did all of our guys get unassigned or something? What's, like... But we'll just push them out of there, ideally, but... Yeah, cap ourselves, okay. We'll just capitulate here. Or we'll see if they take a white piece. Will you take this? French war reps? No. Japanese war reps? No. Liberate Brittany? No. Okay, we'll just white piece then, I guess. White piece don't mind too much. And then we'll send the Grand Army over to here. Oh no, wait, we won't demobilize it. We'll just have them push. We'll have these guys. I guess I had like my massive army demobilize on me. We'll demobilize this guy so we can land maybe. And we'll move this guy over here, I guess. Who do we have that's not mobilized? This guy's not mobilized, so we'll station him over here. And this guy's not mobilized, so we'll station him over here. And then our other not mobilized guy, right? Or where was them? We'll move him over here. Where's the guy that didn't have a general? Oh, okay. Authoritarian petite bourgeoisie. Not flirting with disaster there at all. And then we will move our navy. God, this is all so tedious. Like, you want to talk about... We have to, like, move them close. I'm gonna move them to this ocean, the Gulf of Mexico. Of course, there's no guy. Jingoist, fine. Authoritarian, ethno-nationalist. Maybe that's the real guy we need. I'm sorry your phone died. What did they fix about military? I don't know. I haven't seen patch notes. Now swap and capitulate to us is winning? Well, too bad. We already figured that out. We already just white pieced. Okay, we could get enactment chance, probably. Do that. We have a pretty significant thing for poor laws, and we wouldn't even hate poor laws here, so we'll probably just do that. After that, maybe we go Council Republic. Poor laws is gonna give us a lot of stuff. It was an example more like coal, send it to London for steel, and then imploded the industry, so I have no idea what actually good what's on sending it. But like, so like if we take a look at the thing, sorry. If we take a look at here, like, I mean, this is something I need to make a video on, but I have to understand it better. But I'm pretty sure the bigger the margin between your output and your input, the more you can tolerate a negative MAPI. And so the iron mines and the coal mines like can still be profitable and send back to London. But for example, London sending steel out to somewhere else to be used is probably not going to be as effective because the margin here is not as favorable, right, in terms of percentages. Like, this is 2/3 of this, whereas like on the resources, you know, and I have to update these values, but like, for example, diesel pump engines, like, it's 5x here. So like, even if you have like a significantly depressed or increased, so like, let's say MAPI is bringing up input cost 20%, or let's call it 50%. The MAPI wouldn't affect it this much, but just like, because the math is easier, then this would cost 1,200, and let's say it was bringing outputs down 50%. Again, this MAPI wouldn't have this big an effect. It'd be actually closer to 10%, but whatever. This brings us down to 2,000, so 1,200, 2,000, that still leaves 800 value for, you know, your to pay out your workers. But if you tried to do something like that with like a steel mill, if this decreased by 50%, that would be 3,750, right? And then if this increased by 50%, that would be 9K. That can't possibly be profitable. And so you care more about like the industrial stuff. That's in terms of passing around value, you care more. And so like the motor industries, for example, also have this tight thing. So if you have a motor industry where you don't have steel, like if you're shipping the steel to the motor industry, that's what's catastrophic in terms of the chain, as far as I can tell. But I have to like investigate this like a little bit further, a little bit more closely. You know, actually think about it. Presumably no one's educated to do the job. You need to get multiculturalism. Why are you hearing real-life cave noises? Are you talking about the uber loud cars outside? Oh, what did we... Oh, I forgot we got this. I forgot we got this. Okay, so we are going to need to do a lot of PM swapping and a lot of legwork and stuff to try and make this a thing. That's unreal, though. We just forgot we, like, annexed all of India. Well, first things first. Where do we got the rice? Okay, this place has rice and opium, so I'm not... And already a lot of opium, but where is the rice? Unreal that the rice isn't being produced. I think the thing doesn't calculate well enough, like, how profitable rice is. But there's also a bunch of turmoil here. Maybe we just leave some of this stuff for a hot minute. God, this stuff would take forever to incorporate, too. And I'm not sure we want to incorporate any of it. We do have a ton of bureaucracy, though, as a result of there being a ton of stuff there. So maybe we just up our institutions to max level. But we would still need to kill some of these, like, things. Or knock them down. Commanda secession, where's it at? Is that it? Right here? Jesus. That seems like not a problem. Is there something over here? I don't think that's ours. What's going on? I will say that this agriculture in this is just OP. The rice farms are. Rice farms are insane. God, but like this UI does not feel like good at all. To be fair, the UI didn't feel very good before, but it like this feels like super tedious. So these guys are traveling to the Mexico HQ, and these guys are traveling to the Gulf of Mexico. So we'll do this one, this landing here, and hopefully we get in on their cap and can enforce on them in a timely fashion. The turn of the century to a new century, or just Brandenburg gets these, or we get all this. I think we take the country stuff. We are the most legitimate of all time. Still in sponsorship on this. Do we have a lot of... Yeah, let's, where are we from here? Demo do you be... America... Europe... Oh, I forget the name of the region that, like Australia and, what is it, Oceania? Alright, we'll see where people are from right now. Because I'm always curious what my demo looks like here. Looks like we can't offer support, because it's too low, or hostile. What would you give us? Diplo packs, would you give us... The funniest thing is that they can bankroll us for like one tick and then they go bankrupt afterwards, which is really funny, but we would get one tick of a bankroll. Here. America's, of course, is including countries other than the US. Kind of expecting some more secession movements, so maybe we move, station this guy over here. Something like this. Why are we just getting shit on this front? I think we moved a lot of troops there. I mean, we're really pushing them now here. Did we just move guys on the wrong front? I mean, we've already pushed them. Oceania, you got it. Nail on the head. A Japanese rice warlord and ranked in the billions what you did. I haven't gotten there yet. I'm nowhere near that. I'm at 100 million at like 1900. To be fair though, I failed to pass agrarianism 4 times. I also don't think agrarianism is best. I think like laissez-faire would have been better. But passed agrarianism for the memes. But I'm glad to see the strategy is working for other people. I mean, I just think it's just super out of line. It's unreal to me. Like, I don't know. I suggested changing it in the thing, and then, like, I was surprised by the number of people who disagreed with me. It was like 9-7 or 9-8, like, last I checked or something. I don't know. It's just like, I don't know, dude. It's 2 buildings for the price of 1. That's like literally what it is. What's my favorite change? Local prices. I actually think this is great. I think that they maybe need to adjust the numbers. They maybe need to decide if they want people to get to like 5 billion GDP or whatever. Yeah. Egypt is god tier. Same with Ottomans. No, they're not. Wait, what? Egypt's terrible because they have like no wood. What up, Cloudy Crew? I got 1.9 billion GDP by 1910. Okay, I got 10 years to... Actually, I'm at like 250 million, so I have 10 years to like hit that type of thing. I don't think I could do that, though. As Japan. I mean, some stuff's just trying to meme harder than like playing hard. This guy bugged out. This guy might be bugged out. This guy's just stuck at 99 mobilization. I think he's just stuck at 99 mobilization. We also had a guy just fully demobilized. Yeah, so... Oh no, we intentionally demobilized this guy, but... What could we push Louisiana here? Or A, B, and C? That's not the right guy, but whatever. We should put this down pretty quick. I don't think we'll need to. You got lucky at the laws. Yeah, I mean, I didn't get the ball rolling for, like, forever. And I think that being at 70 MAPI is, like, really bad for, like, an extended period of time. Agrarian limits the industries and the private queue can invest in, so we'll synergize with the rice monopoly. Yeah, the rice monopoly kind of... well, so, like... I built way too much rice, and I did it for the memes. Like, it was way too much. Just, like, to the point where the price is just so depressed, I can't possibly export it. Like, or it's like, I'm already exporting to everyone. Do you think it's good to start as France and try to take EIC ASAP? That's probably strongest, yeah. But if you're talking 1.5, everything's super broken. So, like, France, you could just world conquest off the bat, too. Not too hard, because, like, the combat's all broken. Dreaming of the future is always playing it in the background. Is it really? I think you're right. You want some more angry? Let's get something a little more upbeat. Egypt does not have wood, but it can get it in Africa easy. But with MAPI, it like makes a difference where it is. Like, so ideally, I made a video on like this idea of having states that have like a little bit of everything being really good to build in early. And Egypt doesn't have a single state that looks like that. I call them rainbow states. I doubt that catches on, but like that's kind of what I'm gonna call them. But like, there's no place that has iron, wood, and coal. Whereas you take something like Wallonia, they have iron, wood, and coal in a single province. In fact, what I noticed like absolutely most, and I was most shocked with, is Belgium absolutely pops the fuck off every game now. And I think it's literally just because Wallonia and because the AI has no choice but to build here. Oh, maybe it's because they're using subs, Joey. Maybe this is the real reason they subbed the tools. The interventionism, this is the way. So like, I guess we finally get our landing there. I mean, I guess we'll maybe land this as well here. God. This like, a lot of the stuff here though is just like, super like, not what things should look like. Congo pipeline, how much is it? 500, sure. My bad, agrarian doesn't hard limit the industries that private can invest in. I'm wrong, I think. Yeah, but like, so what agrarianism does is it gives you, so, I mean, hyper late game agrarianism is actually probably pretty good when you're like, when you want to decrease investment, but 50% farmers and aristocrats, it gives you a larger percentage juice, but the thing is you really just don't make, you tend not to make huge fat margins on these industries because you tend to overproduce because the PMs are super efficient, just like coming into the tab. Like, and this is not updated, but like the PMs are super efficient on agriculture. Like rice, you see the like on Kemfer it's 1200 and then 3k output, and then fig orchards is like another little bit, and like you know, the plantation's super high up, and so the price of these things, unless you just can't build them, just gets super depressed because it's really easy to overbuild them, and then you just have a lot of them, a low price and a low profit margin, and so, but like stuff like the resources they don't get depressed that easily. Because you tend to get like more capped out on them, and so like yeah, and then like you benefit a lot more from economies of scale in industries specifically, because there's a lot more EOS bonuses in industries. Like you get them from the trade unions, although they significantly like. So, I mean, agrarianism's also, like, way better because, like, look, they made this give plantations throughput, too. Like, this is not a small deal. Like, so now having big, happy farmers big and happy, like, the plantation throughput's a big fucking deal. It's, like, a huge buff, my boys. And so, yeah. We're gonna try and... Bombay is incorporated? When the fuck did we do that? That's a bug. That has to be a bug. What the hell? Why is it incorporated? Oh, did we incorporate like a little stick of it? And then, I don't know, why is it... I don't know what's going on there. I think we need to clean up our PMs though. So we're gonna get everything on fertilizers. And the thing is now... We have to be a little bit careful not to use... So now we can't use electric fences anymore as a PM swap because of local stuff. Yeah, this local goods price is just like super annoying for the purposes of trying to like swap over a bunch of PMs specifically. Because we cannot touch anything like that uses railroads or energy by hand, in terms of mass touch it. Like we can turn on automatic irrigation everywhere, but we cannot turn on the other stuff everywhere. Oh baby. We're actually just gonna crank up so much output. We should have swapped these over forever ago. Rip the dream. But I guess we'll just not swap the stuff until we like take care of it by hand. Oh my god, we can't swap to electric. As long as we don't have anything on like regular sawmills, I guess that's fine. Or not on regular sawmills. Just on simple forestry would be a problem. They're not on simple forestry. But this has introduced like a new level of tedium. We can't do that. Something like this. So looks like we got most people from the Americas right now. Alright, alright, alright. Subs are king. Interventionism is the way to go. I disagree, but I think it might be better just because yeah, I think it's better than it was before. So maybe I'll have to take a look again. Yeah, IG would be easy to world conquest and like yeah, like world conquest would just be super, not like yeah. I just can't seem to sustain all the wars, or maybe I can and I'm just scared to, I don't know. No, you have to make it so that like you can puppet and annex nearly everyone. There's like a method to doing it. The method's not really fun. I don't think. I haven't done a world conquest because it's super tedious. I think in theory I could do it, but I'm not that committed. I also think like from like hours in to like content out perspective, the ratio is kind of ass. But that's kind of a separate question, right? Oh yeah, we definitely want everything on steel. Oh no. So our explosive factory, we can't swap stuff. God damn it, dude. Because we have places that have energy and places that don't. Also, we just have huge shortages a lot of the time, like when we do stuff. God, we needed to not click that. Dude, come on, man. Yeah. Was that a mistake? Oh, this is a mistake, because these don't do anything. Wait, why? How do we have cannons consumption? We shouldn't have any cannons consumption. Okay, we'll just switch that off. Alright, we can't swap. We can swap to covered markets, but what we can't swap is to electric streetlights or public motor carriages. Unless we go out of our way to get power in all these places. Bougie patronage? Probably not. And then, oh my god, can't swap those. Gotta scroll through by hand. This is what I'm talking about though, like, cause we don't know where we have power and where we don't have power. And we can't use the things that make the game a lot less tedious. Wait a second, let's just have sewing machines. I guess so these ones are fine. We'll put everything on elastics. I don't think too much stuff will be on traditional looms, so we'll just let it be whatever it is, I guess. Something like this. So, yeah. Sir, question is religious discrimination equally bad as cultural discrimination, or works different? Well, it's different because you can convert people. So if you're on state atheism and you have religious schools and you take some Chinese states and then you're multiculturalism state atheist, you can convert the pops while they're in Beijing, and then once they're converted to atheism, then they will move to the rest of your country. And so, yes, it's a little bit different, but because you can convert, you cannot assimilate pops that you discriminate against for culture. So that means you cannot, there's no way to facilitate, like if you don't have multiculturalism, there's no way to get migration coming in from Beijing, so I hope that answers the question. I think to solve that, the issue is allowing railway to have throughput bonus or transport bonus or something to allow them to move around and bring back local prices on the nation. Yeah, you could make it regional, but like, we would want it to, like, oh my god, it's actually turned on in a couple of these spots. Do we actually have railways? Okay, so this place does have some railways, so like, we could turn on some of these PMs, but now we have to like, micromanage. So okay, we have railways here. Well, what do we do? It's like, can we turn this on? No, it's already turned on. And like, having to go through, we just annexed this place. Having to go through this for every single one is like, in my opinion, pretty tedious. And now like, also like, we have to do this for, yeah. This one's not too bad because we could just swap this, but like, we definitely, now we are like, which trains do we want to get on? Well, we want to be steel passenger. We want to, I think, allowing automatic expansion now is good because you can, if you get really expensive local prices, but now at least it's like I think like chronological with acquisition, right? So like at the very bottom should be all the stuff we like newly acquired, but you're just scrolling through all this, right? You're looking for stuff that's not on electric. Now we see some stuff that's not on our electric with Orissa, and yeah, it's not on steam trains. We would rather be on oh my god. And then, like, I clicked the UI wrong, and so now I have to scroll down, and, like, this is not, this is not a play pattern that's, like, ideal, right? Because we'd rather be on steam trains, but we, like, don't want to swap, like, so we need, like, if-then statements or something like this for, like, intelligent swapping or something. To like improve play patterns for this sort of stuff. I never noticed that an aggregate trait was an output buff, not a throughput buff. That's actually so good. Yeah, it's just straight up output. It's like insane. I think we're gonna nuke one of these. I think we could disband this one, and then we are going to add the agricultural society. Anything other than rice. Got rice, bitch. Got rice. What sugar got? I forget how the rest of it goes. Looks like they'll accept this, so... Oh, I forgot. We have to designate a strategic objective, otherwise we'll never push it. This is so cool how this works. So we could just damage our relations with them. I say damage, damn their negligence. Parts of the ship tech does, well, how long until railroad PMs become MAPI PMs? I don't think, I think that that's too hard to implement right now. I don't think they're going to get that through anytime soon. For, like, allowing transportation and MAPI to interact in a dynamic way, which, like, would be super cool, but... In your opinion, is it worth it integrating overseas stuff that you don't own directly? I no longer am really confident in my opinion on this because I think the colonial exploitation, the extra 10% throughput changes stuff, as well as the minus manufacturing industry's throughput. So now, in overseas unincorporated territories, they don't auto-build a bunch of manufactories anymore, which was always the reason to incorporate, because eventually they just stack a bunch of manufactories and you had to worry about it. And now they don't do that. But we do have problems here because these places keep auto expanding, and we have it on auto expand. And like the power plants are a fucking problem because they think they're profitable, but they can't employ is why they're super profitable, because we can't get the like machinists and like but they are uber profitable because there's a ton of energy like requirements because we're on electric railways, because we wanted to try and like use RPMs, which was a rookie mistake. So because I wanted I put a railroad in every single province, and then I put electricity in every single province, and then I set them on auto expand, and I'm like, fine, it'll handle itself, except it doesn't. And it's actually just super aggravating. This is like a waste of construction, and it's auto expanding up. Like, it doesn't need to do that. You know, the thing is, it's got a positive balance while not being able to fully employ, and like it's just a problem. We probably actually want it all publicly traded, which will nuke some of the profitability down, which will make it so that it doesn't auto expand as much. But yeah, so this is a problem. Hopefully they have a plan for it. Yeah, that's what I agree. It should be more, then delete the power plant. Ha 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 ha. Joey here with the jokes. Delete the power plant, he says. Cackles and interventionalism. We should just delete the power plant. Multiculturalism is annoyingly OP. This is another thing I've been like complaining about forever. They should stop making multiculturalism harder to get, and they should just nerf the law. Just delete the buildings. Also, we kind of don't want to delete the buildings. I'd rather just have them sit there and do nothing than like be deleted. But urban center throughput 50% seems like a lot. Yeah, it's smaller. It's similar to the problem you've been saying with the regards to this like this madness. Yeah, actually, you know what? We're gonna like take them all off auto expand, but we now we have them all on auto expand, and we definitely want some of them on auto expand, like the non-overseas ones we want on auto expand. But God, this fucking sucks, dude. We're just gonna take them off though. I mean, they're not that profitable, so. Oh, is this our communist? We might not want him to have grifter. Minus popularity. No, I'd kind of rather him not acquire grifter at this point in time, so. But this is like, I don't know. Someone said try auto expand and this sort of thing, and I was like, maybe this works, and it doesn't work. It sucks. And so now we just like we've wasted a whole bunch of construction here. Like rip the 2 billion GDP before 1900, basically. I have a challenge if you care to hear it out. Yeah, I'll hear it. I won't necessarily do it. Multiculturalism was less OP. Countries like Schleswig-Holstein or Harar could be ultra OP. I don't know about OP, but they could certainly be a lot more playable. We're probably just not doing anything aggressive for a while. If they want a defensive pact, they're calling it an obligation. Sure, my guys. You got me. So did I trick you into the customs union? Look forward to the day when laissez-faire that businesses can go under and remove levels on their own. Vic 2 had it. Yeah. I'm familiar with that. Vic 2 had it. I'm actually not familiar with Vic 2 again. Having accepted pops in all of Europe and Africa. Schleswig-Holstein has accepted pops in Africa? What the frick? Or you mean Harar for Africa? Yeah, okay, that's what you mean. I hate that event. It's super tedious. It just like encourages us to delete a thing. Oh my god. I forgot we wanted to swap this up. Let's do it. I think we have another oil PM we're using, but we'll see how things shake out. Making tons of money. Money moves. I don't know. It's more realistic though. Play Scotland and get the #1 GP in the top 5 on the board. I did it once and cried myself to sleep. That wouldn't be that hard though. What's left to do on this run? Just try out stuff. I want to play it kind of deep. to like unlock most of the tech tree and just try things. I mean, I guess at some point we'll get tanks. Private health insurance is kind of nice. I don't know how Bombay got it. Freaking. No idea how Bombay got incorporated. But it is. Okay, so now here's another thing that's annoying. We just added a bunch of railways. Guess which PM they're going to be using? Base. They're going to be using electricity. We need them on steam. So it's like... it's just super big sad. Schleswig-Holstein has Danish and German. Yeah, I realize that's what you meant. Not they have both, but each one of those has most of Europe or most of Africa. It starts with minus 12k in the red. Yeah, but like a lot of like Portugal starts out with a really big deficit too, if I recall correctly. But I guess we could look at the tech tree and think like, okay, well, what do we want to research? Maybe we don't want to go compression ignition. Maybe we want to unlock some of the military PMs. Problem is the military stuff doesn't really do anything. I know we get the sprites of tanks on the map. And so this is something. I mean, we could take a look at the Grand Army and see what their mobilization options are now. Wee woo. So, like, this is our mobilization options at this juncture. I don't know what gives us luxurious supplies. We'd like to know. It's not in the tooltip at this juncture, so. Do you think like electricity versus services should be based on regions instead of individual provinces? Well, I think electricity should be based on individual provinces. I think that the UI, I would appreciate a UI that made it so I can swap on those PMs unless I had electricity. Like, what I would like is a button here, a toggle at the top here, where I can, or a checkbox, which is don't use electricity if it's not in the region or in the state. Don't use transportation if it's not in the state. And then when I go to switch this over to electric fences, it swaps over every single one that actually has electricity and doesn't swap all the ones that don't have electricity. That's what I would like. That's the way I think it should be. Like, I think there should be, like, something, mechanisms like that, which allow you as the player to do what you want to do. Because it's a very simple heuristic I have, right? Where I want to, we're gonna go to speed 4 and just try and keep going. I want to have, it's like, it's not complicated what I want, I don't think. We'll try doing that. You know, I want to not, like, I don't mind eating some sort of inefficiency when I haven't created, like, the like, MAPI chains for, like, goods or whatever. Like, for example, here, like, this province, I could make dyes, and I could make cotton, and I can make silk, and then I could make clothing really well, and, like, this, like, and maybe I shouldn't be using the silk PM, I should, but, like, this is just an example, like, sort of thing, and, but, like, it's not catastrophic. It's catastrophic when you run a shortage, like, it's really bad, so, like, you really don't want to accidentally swap onto the wrong thing, so, like, I don't know. Meow. See, that's definitely a car. That's a fucking loud as fuck car. I don't know. But also, like, I think, like, I'm trying to drop, like, a bunch of things in Trucial Coast, right? I have a bunch of this. You know what these things probably need? They do have enough. For now. We probably need more infrastructure. Yeah. But, like, yeah, I don't know. Portugal does not have a total 1.9 million pops. Well, so the big problem is you're releasing with Great Britain and you have a bunch of, you don't have like, well, this is not the state of affairs, but you don't have like eco and you have a bunch of institutions and you're just running a negative balance, but like you can figure it out. Anything to make PMs less tedious, not gonna lie. Yeah, this is feedback I left on their Discord. My complaint was that it was tedious, not that it was a bad simulation or poorly balanced. Isn't it? Like, not that it was conceptually bad. Like electricity, look, it makes no sense that I can produce a ton of electricity in New York and ship it to Madagascar. Like, this is not, this doesn't make sense. It actually doesn't really make sense for me to make electricity and ship it to North Carolina. But I also will tear my hair out if, I mean, like, the PMs are just super, yeah, they're just not. Okay, we have such a fat queue to, like, get through here. Maybe I should add a lot more construction. That's another thing. Construction goes way slower now. Like, everything's construction cost was, like, increased by, like, 35% or something like this. Looking for a place that has low cost and also decent amount of pops, something like this. Hello? Transmission lines within a continent makes sense. Overseas doesn't. I don't think the technology that existed in 1900 was such that you could transport electricity from New York to Virginia. Like, interstate is, like, already, like, a little bit of a stretch, my understanding of, the world. Also, it's, like, wild that you get, like, loyalists from the ones you have in government and not the other interest groups as much. Not that this is bad, but this is different. Alright, we're gonna try and do poor laws here, though. Like, the transmission lines that you see are not transporting energy from New York to Virginia. This is the cursed timeline where Tesla managed to live, to create a worldwide power network, wireless power, at least for 1.4. Electricity is usually made of huge swaths and transported vast distances. It's only recent that production scaled down. It was made in the 1890s. Transmission lines for vast distances. I mean, let's take a look. I don't even know the name of these things. Alright, but we can do a little bit of Wikipedia. Energy efficient transport is useful travel distance, passenger goods, or total energy. Nope, this isn't what I mean. No, this is how much energy it takes to. Was it called transistors or what? I get quantum teleportation if I try and look like this. And I'm just trying to find the electric power transmission from Wikipedia. Let's take a look. A little bit of a dive. Because I haven't checked this type of stuff in some time. Electric power transmission, bulk movement, generating sites such as power plant, blah blah blah. If it requires high voltages, this reduces the losses from strong currents. Transmission lines are either EC or DC. North America has 4 major interconnections: Western, Eastern, Quebec, and Texas. One grid connects most of continental Europe. Historically, transmission and distribution lines were often owned by the same company, but starting in the 1990s, they liberalized, etc. Just kind of trying to skim and find the technology more than overhead underground. Okay. Commercial electric power was initially transmitted at the same voltage used by lighting and mechanical loads. This restricted the distance between generating plant and loads. In 1882, so kind of close to the game, DC voltage cannot easily be increased for long distance transmission. Different classes of loads, for example, lighting, fixed motors, and railways, etc., required different voltages and so used different generators. Thus, generators were near the sites, near the loads, a practice that later became known as distributed generation, large numbers, etc. Transmission of AC became possible after Lucien Gallard and this guy in 1881. So, in the scope of the game, the first long-distance AC line was 21 miles long. That is less than the distance from New York to Virginia, built for the international, etc., blah, 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 etc. The first commercial AC distribution system was in 85, so within the context of the game, and it powered, let's see, I'm looking for distance here. But I mean, it does seem like, it seems like it's kind of going at a pretty nice clip here. 14 miles, Portland, down the river, hydroelectric dam. But this is still like, 1914, 55 transportation systems, kilowatts, whatever, etc. But this does, okay, so this seems like it's not prolific by kind of late Victoria time, but it does seem like the technology's there, but not there like a lot. Oof, I lost a lot of viewers when I started looking at that shit. Maybe make urban centers produce power instead of having it be a separate building. That's an idea. I mean, it could just all be urban center and transportation. All could be kind of similar. I don't know. Energy losses, AC revolution and Pastures, blah, blah, blah. Early DC basically required a substation very often. You're talking about the thing volting up and down in one point transformer. Quantum teleportation. Quantum teleportation's kind of where it's at, right? Plastic is the future. It's not the children, it's the plastics. The plastics of the corn. Why can't we reverse sway? Oh, because this is a play against us. Annex Chile, annex radical Chile. Oh, yikes. We probably should have moved some guys over there. We'll move some guys. Just a little focused on our power plant discussion. I mean, I think it's... Yeah, I don't know too much about the technology there, so to be fair. Game theory, basically. I know a lot more about game theory than I know about electricity. That's more within my purview. I studied a lot of game theory for poker. Transporting more than 100 miles away only started in the 1970s. Okay. So, it sounds like, yeah, it's not necessarily too viable. We'll probably go, like, maybe another hour here. But the larger point is, like, it's actually just, the way that this plays out is incredibly tedious, is the thing, because I feel like I cannot expand certain types of buildings in a very robust way without also expanding the corresponding electricity, and there's not a way for me to do that. Like, I can't... Like, let's say I want to add 30 textile mills here. If I just slap down 30 textile mills, what happens here? Well, if they don't have a lot of power plants, which this place does, to be fair, then they will just run a shortage. In fact, I'm probably going to make this auto-expand, because, like, they do have a lot of power plants, and they are profitable. But, like, you know, and, like, I'm just going to 51 some of these. Well, 51ing is actually probably a lot worse than it normally is. For this, but also they changed the PMs and stuff like this. I don't know. We can maybe take taxes down a little bit. It's probably better to add construction though. Just like some moral issues, certainly. We are cranking up. I don't think I necessarily want to push super hard. And to transport, I assume. You need energy output until nuclear power became a thing, because you could output the power without having to buy more coal or oil to do so. Interesting. Whoa. Do we have sauce? Do we have receipts for either of these claims then? If you guys are just fundamentally like on different boats, because I would like to know for my discussions like the state of affairs with the electricity. And so if you guys are fundamentally in disagreement, I would like they had 175 kilometer distance, but what's that in freedom units? Lines in the late 80s. You mean 1880s or 1980s? Because those are two very different 80s. And we're kind of talking about both right here, right? I clicked the button before I read that. I thought I remembered which event it was, but then I realized I might not. Perhaps not ideal. I think we're just gonna blast some farms in outer space here, though. Some rice farms. We're just gonna 31 some of these. Like, this is going up to 18 in Bombay, so we're 31. We're just gonna add up to 51. And it's going to... We're just gonna 51 this as well. So it's 38, 41... 90s, 1890s. So did they have one, or was it commonplace? Is another, like, I think important clarifying question, you know? Because just having one and having, like, a lot are, like, two different things, right? I'm just gonna 51 some of these, and then... add a couple things at the front. Oh, it's nice that we can see how many buildings are being constructed, because we can kind of add railways accordingly. 100-page report on 1,800 power plants. Joey, you did a 100-page report? Or are you just like, Control F, 175? I do agree. Integrating power lines in urban center would be a lot better, though, for gameplay. Yeah. How big is New York State anyways? It's likely over 100 kilometers wide. Yeah, well, like, what I'm saying, I said New York to Virginia, but, like, I also don't know. I'm getting secondhand knowledge that I don't consider reliable in regards to New York versus to Virginia being unreliable. This is just my understanding. It was not cost effective to do so, not enough throughput. New York had more than one power station in the sub to transport the power around. No, you? Oh, man. Joey's trying to break up the fight. And by break up the fight, I mean antagonize. But that's funny that we went off a little bit of a cliff. But we are on patch 1.5. I suppose maybe we'll start a poll. What should we talk about? Local prices. Local goods, which is kind of what we're talking about now. We're talking about electricity and also military, I guess. What talk about? We'll try and talk about whatever we're currently, like, whatever's doing well in this poll. And we can maybe get something going. Trying to get poor laws. Would love to get new Colossus, so I guess we'll kind of come a look. We have a couple communists. I mean, I do think we want to go communism. This guy will also want Council Republic, the dirty Luddite. I don't think we're gonna invite him. We can party without the Luddite. Wait, local goods. Local goods does seem to be like the most or local goods, not local prices. So this is kind of what we're talking about with the electricity, with local goods. And I still have to do some thinking about it, but I think that potentially, one way to dump stuff into other people's markets, or this is what I've thought before local prices came about, was that local goods, or the non-exportable goods, of which like local goods are non-exportable goods, are an interesting idea to maybe, an interesting industry to maybe subsidize, because by subsidizing them you could get really, really cheap inputs, and also like it's interesting that, like, so for example, New York, we were talking about like you not being able to like play out of here and like or play out of home counties and just be like the industrial center for the rest of the world, but places like New York where you were getting you know, this bonus for electricity. Okay, this is significantly nerfed in this patch, but you know, it's interesting to think about. Obviously the UI is just absolutely terrible, and so like the question is like we could put everything on urban centers too, and we should probably just kind of take a closer look at urban centers in general. Let's take a look at this urban center. So now this urban center is providing for just Silesia, and we also don't see the uber depression of you know, prices here. And this kind of changes things up. I probably haven't thought about this as much as I need to, but I think that, well, okay, according to that, it's more profitable, but that probably lies to us, right? But maybe it is. We have a lot of unemployment here. Are we fully expanded on the, no, we aren't expanded on these. Our pops are just unemployed versus finding a job. Pretty unemployed, but when the power plant comes up, that should be better. But I think it's interesting that all the local goods like feed into each other too, right? The transportation, unless they change the PM enough, which they might have on transportation, the best railway, like previously, is electric trains, and so electric trains will require the electricity. The electricity requires engines, sure, whatever. The engines, you want steel. And the steel, you want coal and iron as inputs, which you also, like, it refeeds with the tools, because, like, steel tools make the tools, blah, blah, blah. And so, like, this is, like, a relatively closed loop that is built on, also, steel and glass. But this is built on, you know, and the engines use coal, I think. What is this? Oh, well, the engines use all kinds of things now, because we're on cars, but I believe they use steel and coal. Or I guess that's just because we're on water tube boiler. So it seems that you really want, or urban centers benefit a lot from like this symbiotic relationship, and having steel, lead, and coal all in one place are going to be pretty good. And also, like, we can build transportation to make this more profitable, right? And we can build electricity to make this more profitable. And maybe we should just try and crank that up, in particular here. So let's just bust this up a bit, because we're using quite a bit, but this allows us to build a super high urban center too, because, yeah. Seems to be the earliest mention of a grid. What date? Guy just drops the hammer without talking about a date. In 1982, 1,700 kilometer line was built over the Congo. Yeah, but that's outside the scope of the time period we're talking about. We're talking about, is it realistic in Wiki? Although that is interesting, that's a really long line. I think we'll take that. The wiki establishes the first, which is Germany. The London system references 200 kilometers worth, another around 200 kilometers, all in the same wiki before, but I'm But that's all on deep diving for electricity, fair. But like, the whether or not something's done once or commonplace or something like this, or is efficient, are all different things. Does the power plant bonus work? Because my playthroughs, I don't see it. It's not throughput, it's just output. So... Oh, they don't have power. Ah, but we have ours. We have our bonus down here, don't we? Don't we? Don't we? So we could see, will the tooltip give us a breakdown? No, it won't. Well, shit. So we gotta look up what is the output on this without any throughput. So we gotta find a level 1 building then. See, the real problem is, but if you're looking at throughput, you won't be able to see it. But if you like do the math, the math will math, but I don't know the best way to do it here now. But we want this to be more profitable because we have more output on this, so we want the urban center to grow, right? But like, oh, this is a weird thing, is like, do we want to build this up tall? Because we do not have the lower like tier goods to make it like super nice. But maybe we just build the steel mills and the other stuff anyway. I mean, this was we built a ton of, we overbuilt on engines here in particular, because we can get cheaper power, which this all is all like feeding together. But like these tall like exporty urban centers that are involved in the steel, like the heavy industrial goods, it seems, are the goods you want to disregard MAPI for throughput, and then the consumption goods, it seems, like textile mills and food industries, seem to be the ones where maybe you want to care a little bit more, because there's less chaining here, right? There's tools into this, right? And it's not it's not like steel, which uses tools into motor industries, which is used to make the electricity. Like there's fewer and fewer chains, and the longer the chain, the more negative MAPI is like an influence of a thing. New York by the 1900s had 50, so keep that in mind. Interesting, the Congo had 28 plans on that line. It's common, it just took a while for it to scale. I mean, like, at this point, though, we're talking about multiple power plants on the same grid, right? Which I don't know what to make of that, because would you consider the one that went over the Congo one single power plant, like the one in Hero Land supplies everything downwind, or would it be several power plants that are all connected to the same grid? I don't know. As for the date question, 1912 seems to be the start, but fixing the grid issue continued decades later. I'm talking about generation, just distribution. That two different factors, and of course, that takes a lot of time. Hover over the number on the output. I mean, I didn't see, it wasn't giving us a tooltip here, but we can hover it. So this is the output. Oh, just kidding. You're right. You're right. Here's the bonus, Joey. Thank you. No lifer. Thought that was no lifter for a second. With a total of 180 power plants, power the whole thing. Yeah. It's Serval on the one line, 28 hydro and 16 coal, all in one place for the Congo line. It's interesting. Electrical generation's been a pain in the ass, yeah. That's what it seems like to me. We've mostly just been chilling this episode because we got so much infamy from annexing over here, but super excited about the rice come up that we're gonna be experiencing here. Like this, it's so, I don't think the autocube builds the rice as much as it should either, but maybe it does, I'm not sure, but like It's super slot efficient too. I think that despite the super depressed growth, this might actually be the best patch for cranking up GDP as much as possible, since like they fixed the GDP calculation and made it so stopped the double counting of stuff. Yeah, bruh. What's the best good to still make Uber tall, if any? It probably depends where you're building now. I think that there are places where you want to do the steel tools, like something looking like this, but thinking of it in terms of a single goods, probably not the way you want to do it anymore. I think you need to think of it in terms of chains, because you want to have, you want to not have, like, absurdly not good balances. Although we have, on the, like, some of our ending sort of chain things, we have absurd positive like, we have an absurdly positive balance of steel, so we're providing steel to the rest of the world, or the rest of our market here. We're providing glass to the rest of our market, and this is okay because we have like a lot of we have all the chains, like the lower tier chains of stuff. So like tools are not overly expensive here, so we're not paying super negative on the MAPI for tools. We are not paying super negative on the MAPI for, you know, definitely not for iron or this, or like coal. And so like the better question might be where to build tall. But like an example, like Sicily, you have a ton of sulfur, right? And so that means you can make really nice fertilizers or fertilizer in Sicily, but also, and the AI appears to be doing this. This chain, for example, I was about to bring it up. It's actually delightful that the Sicily is doing this. You know, they have a lot of sulfur. And so what would be nice is a chain that maximally makes use of sulfur, right? Because this also has 20% throughput bonus from the unique state bonus. And so I was going to say fertilizer, which then goes into synthetic plants along with more sulfur. And so this is a good place to get dyes, right? And so you can run a chain and, you know, produce a ton of, you do have to pay more on the iron because you're not producing iron. But other than that, you chain up to the fertilizer chains up to the synthetic plants, which makes dyes, and then you maybe use the dyes. Hey, look, you have silk and cotton, not in very large quantities, mind you, but like, then you can chain it up and actually get pretty profitable textile mills, which the AI seems to have done in terms of like the auto queue, which is like impressive and interesting. And so, you know, what to build tall, instead, I think it's going to change, like, and we can evaluate a state. So, like, what a better question might be, well, what state do you have? What resources do they have? And what can we build out of this? So, yeah, just kidding. Oh boy, has the right answer. It's rice. Rice is the best thing to build tall. The rice PM is obscene. Someone else did an updated spreadsheet. My spreadsheet's not updated, but we can pull it up. It doesn't have the correct things. It doesn't give you the right numbers because I haven't updated it for the new one. But someone did update it. And what the rice effectively did is it just doubled this value and doubled this value. So if we can think about it like this, oh, do we not have authority? This is my wrong Google account. We don't have authority here. But basically it just doubles this figure. It more than doubles this figure in terms of, or sorry, more than doubles this. Or I think it about doubles this. So now, instead of having, when you're on publicly trading, like having, you know, an efficiency of 39, which, by the way, is already good on best PMs. The efficiency is 80, like, for contributing to the investment pool. It's obscene. The best PM, so 243 is what we're getting in terms of cranking up the GDP, and this is sell order at base price, not the depressed grain price that you are going to receive. But you know, if we take a look at the best PM in the game, OPM was 275. And so it's almost as good without it, but when it's 480, it's just absolutely just 100% out of line. And this is on a per construction basis, which I think is like the point that people are missing. You're evaluating things like, and that's the basis you need to evaluate things. But like the PM is just completely out of line, and if it doesn't get changed, I will like whinge about it a whole bunch. So yeah. British National Grid only started in 26 before, which is local. And speaking of building tall in one's place, if you look at Great Britain, they have a ton of states that are really good for building tall. We have 80 coal, 60 irons, 40 sulfur, right? So you get to support a lot of these chains. 80 coal, not as good, but Lancashire, we have coal, iron, and lead. And when we were talking about, and also a little bit of oil, I forgot about the oil. But what we were talking about here, right, which was this, like, well, Silesia is even better, but, like, we were talking about this steel, tools, glassworks, like, type of thing where this helps you pay for the construction. Also, explosives industry helps you pay for the construction. And we see that, like, feeding into, like, these construction loops and this type of stuff. I think the most critical thing to have to be able to build tall, right, is your ability to do this, taking a look here. Wherever you build tall, you want to produce. Wherever you build tall early, you want to be able to produce the supply chain. You want to be able to chain this stuff so you're paying as minimal MAPI as possible. Maybe with the exception of the fabric, but maybe you actually do want the fabric at the chain. I'm not sure. And then you want to be able to transition to this. This requires mainly wood and iron, but also coal because you're going to get onto steel tools, right? This one will require further lead and sulfur, right? So once you get to steel frame, in order to avoid paying MAPI penalties. And then arc welding building is going to be the same deal. So, you know, having a state that's a rainbow state, you know, with every single one of these available is going to be good, especially if they have a lot of logging. So yeah, that's like maybe the way to think about it. You don't have to run where after you get like 200 construction, you can only build government buildings and infra. After you get 200 construction, I can only build government buildings and infra. That sounds terrible. That sounds like a really boring run to play and probably pretty boring to watch. Fun fact: Scotland was franking IOL in the 1880s and the 1930s. So I'm surprised they don't have oil available in Scotland around the time it started to become widespread. Interesting. If the people can't afford to campaign, then they don't get to campaign. Yeah, this rice is so dumb though. And like it's gonna be so profitable because the prices aren't depressed yet. We'll get them there though. But we also have 95 MAPI, right? So it's gonna take this. We're gonna pull the entire market price down a lot with this place, because like this is our market price right now is 27%. We're gonna crank that down real low. The future's not the children; it's the oil of the corn, the oil of the children. So, fracking oil, 1866, love it. What the frack? But maybe we want Delhi. Are we doing? See, Delhi's dirty. Delhi doesn't have. They have the wheat farms instead. So Delhi, we might want to do a chain for making textile mills really good though, and providing textile mills to the rest of the world because Delhi gets a throughput bonus on its agriculture and now plantations because they buffed all of these to all give agriculture and plantations instead of just giving one, which is super nice. I think we probably get the trade unionist approval and this because I think the plan is going poor laws into something else. But so Delhi specifically, I think we want to produce cotton here and dyes here and silk here, right? Which is going to be benefiting from the throughput, and we can't produce rice here, so you know, whatever. I mean, maybe it's the case that we actually just want to crank opium into the space here, but we're gonna assume that's not the case. And we're going to ramp this up a whole ton, and we're also going to add power plants because we're going to need these here, because we're eventually going to want to swap these PMs up to the electrical ones, and we'll build tall here for that. Just in terms of thinking of things in terms of Okay, I found the state. What can I do with the state with the resource advantages it has? Which Delhi has a ton of arable land, but it can't build rice, which obviously makes it terrible. But then, if we're going to be manufacturing here, we want to then incorporate Delhi, right? So we'll click this incorporation button. It will take a while. But we get a new Chancellor. Chancellor Wilhelm Ludendorff, or whatever. Oh, it was Ludendorff. Dusseldorf. Alright. We're starting to get a lot of these bonuses. We did crank down the taxes. We could up the taxes. It probably would be correct to up the taxes, but then we'd feel pain. Okay, I think we'll add like a few construction sectors here as well. Not a ton. Just get them up a little bit because we are going to be building here as well. And so that'll be nice. US is trying to conquer Tonkin. What's that about? Come on, guy. But, let's see. What else is going on with local goods? I need to actually take a closer look at local goods. But if anyone has an idea of something they specifically want, like, looked at, we could try and see. Now we can offer to join. Hey, become subject. Our personal favorite. Ask for become protectorate. I'm sure they say yes. And this requires no infamy. So this is one of the ways we've expanded quite a lot. Oh my god, we mobilized this guy and we shouldn't have. Son of a bizzle. But we'll station this guy in Mexico. Oh, we can't station him in Mexico. No, terrible. We'll station these guys as close as we can to the US. So that they can get there faster a little bit. Some of these big stacks, and the other ones we will just care less about. So... You ever put the old Russian global market cheese campaign where you abdicate the throne to your heir and make him the leader of the landowners? No, I haven't done it, but I'm aware of this cheese, yes. The local pricing mechanic also does encourage hyper-militaristic aggression, ignore the consumer economy, and focus on heavy industry and conquer more industrialized states. Kind of. I mean, by nerfing construction, you make buildings that are already built at the start of the game more valuable. Yeah. Can you do a deep dive oil? Can you deep dive oil? We can talk about oil a little bit. I do have to re-examine the PMs because they did adjust the PMs. But the short story on oil is that here, we could probably let this go and do this. The short story on oil is that you can't use all the PMs, and so you have to pick and choose PMs. And so here it's probably expensive in our economy, and it is. And so you have to pick and choose PMs, and now there's kind of a new one. So before, food industries has been insane, relatively good. It's also the first one you get with the canning. But then normally the metagame has been eventually the grain price gets so high that you actually swap back the food industries off of this. So mid game you use food industries to boost the price of oil so it's productive, which it is, and then you swap it back. The arms industries one is relatively good. All the labor saving PMs ones suck. Motor industries is now the new one, the new confounding variable, and glassworks has always been good. Now motorworks, the problem with motorworks, or what's interesting about motorworks, or what's changed is you used to only be able to turn on like one of these to make cars, and now you can turn on a whole ton. Oh my god, I can't swap that PM, can I? I cannot swap that PM. I can't swap that one either. There really needs to be a checkmark button which says like don't swap in places that don't have the available resource, or don't swap if this would cause a shortage there. But as I was saying, now if we come into the motor industries, we see almost all of these are producing cars. Our pops are actually consuming a ton of cars, and the price of cars is positive, which makes the PM actually good. It's not super efficient, or it wasn't last time. I have to double check if they've updated the stuff, but they've changed consumption of the AI such that they actually will consume the automobiles, which is pretty nice. Or they've adjusted transportation so you have less transportation or something, such that like it makes it so they actually consume this. And so this is an adjustment I'm a huge fan of. That's kind of like what you want to use the oil on. Germany's not France. That's a fact. I think we would want the Intelligentsia, though. We want to kind of clip through this a little bit faster. The thing I want to know is the cost increases on transport if better rail tech and ship tech lowers it. Let's end the poll. Since oil is most likely not going to be where your main consumption will be. I mean, how it changed efficiency-wise with the new local prices. Oh, you mean the new ones? Yeah, okay, I understand. Sorry. I apologize. Yeah, oil is generally not where it's generally in the wrong place. And so I think what you do is you just expect to have to ship it. I think it does make certain states really valuable. Like, for example, we get some oil, or we don't get any oil here, sorry. But Shaanxi, like, as the game develops and goes later, it will actually get oil, and this is super nice. And you can use the oil in some of the PMs. However, you got to think about it like in terms of chains, right? And so the chain that this improves significantly is the glass, but also the automobiles. And so I don't think you're too worried about the food industry with your input, because if you look at the price, the overall price of the input is really not a large percentage. If you look at the price input, you know, here, the oil is a significant percentage here, right? So this will make these a lot more profitable. These are having trouble because qualifications, and we would like to not discriminate, but we do, so it feels bad. But I also think you won't want to incorporate in places with oil, and you'll just want to just lean towards extraction, because I think we have a throughput from, it's from our company. Does that not benefit from... Or did we incorporate Silesia or Shaanxi? I don't think we incorporated it. Oh, we are incorporating it. Interesting. Well, we knew we wanted to build a little bit tall there eventually, but here we're not incorporating it, right? So are we getting the throughput? Yeah. We are getting economies of scale. Oh, so this doesn't benefit from... I thought this would benefit from colonial exploitation. But that's interesting. So... I think it's just kind of gravy, though. In particular, it's going to improve glassworks when you get on the PM. It's going to be important for automobiles and like some of the later military PMs, but I think that overall you're not that worried about eating the inefficiency. Also, if we're just talking about, you know, what happens to... what are you paying on the MAPI, right? As a like abstraction, like how when does MAPI matter? If we could take a look in here, as the market price trends towards 75%, and there is a shortage of the good being produced, the percent change in MAPI decreases, and since the market price of oil usually trends to be pretty high, the negative effect of MAPI from buying it from some other place is going to be considerably less. The problem is that the local price of MAPI will depress the profitability of the oil place, and so if we take a look back in game, the profitability of the oil place, like here in Shaanxi, for example, is lower because it is influencing the market price down, so it'll be harder to extract and employ up to begin with. But this is the thing where, you know, maybe subsidies come into play, and you could subsidize the oil because you know you're shipping it out elsewhere just to get it to employ up and this sort of thing. So you can get just a larger quantity and drive down market price. I'm not sure if this is worth it. It's probably not, but it's interesting to note that, you know, buying it when it's being produced somewhere else is not a problem. And in general, the PM is so wildly efficient that usually, like, this is a qualifications problem, not a profitability problem here. And so this we're going to get a big enough quantity, but we are going to eat a less good weekly balance is where we're going to pay it. The negative, we're going to pay it in the oil rigs specifically. So I don't know if this makes necessarily too big a difference because we're shipping it and buying it. But there aren't a ton of places that have a lot of oil and lead that I can think of off the top of my head, which this is what you would want, a combination of the two things. You would want oil and lead. Let me pull up the other thing. So we are going to get involved in this Tonkin situation. I guess we're going to move this guy, actually. We're going to station him here, so he can respond to that front pretty quickly, because that is a big honking dude. But, like, I'm trying to think of provinces that have a lot of oil and lead, and I'm coming up a little bit blank, to be honest. So have a lot of oil and lead. I don't think Shaanxi has lead. I think that's what it's missing. Ural is missing the lead. Oh, looks like Russia's getting clapped. Classic 1.5 things. Ural is missing oil. Every one of these surrounding places has it. I guess we could take a look at lead. Because you would want a place with a lot of oil and lead, I think, for really, really cheap glass. If you were trying to, like, dump glass into your market. So I kind of know all the places that have oil anyways. This place, I think, is missing oil. I think the oil goes through these states. Do any of these places have a ton of oil? I don't know. Wallachia has a ton. I don't think Slovakia has much, or any. There's some up here, but Lancashire gets a little bit. Of oil. Yeah, actually no state really stands out as having a ton of oil and lead, to be honest. I could be missing one. Play is in chat, so he might know. Hey Play, how's it going? Wallachia, new good state with oil. Wallachia is pretty, is a bit better than it used to be. They have a decent amount of iron. I think when you're building tall, the first thing you care about is having a lot of iron and wood, and then coal is next, and then after coal is lead, and then after lead is probably sulfur. Although you have some chain. This is for like the industrial chain, which I think is the most important chain for building tall, right? And thinking about it in terms of chains. But like as we were talking with, like, we have a fine chain for textile mills here in Delhi, but this is a much different chain. We are less focused on the fact that we have this wood and this iron, right? And much more focused on the fact that we have dyes, silk, and cotton, all with throughput bonuses here at the same time. And so Texas OP state, I guess. Texas is really solid. They have a really large amount of oil. So does California. They don't have iron, so this is not necessarily... so what's the idea with Texas in terms of the chain? I'm not sure what the best chain is for Texas. California has a construction malice, but they have a ton of gold. And so California, because of the construction malice, you might be better off just extracting, just tooted and booted, and just like shipping it elsewhere. Texas doesn't have a construction malice, but it has sulfur, coal, and it doesn't have any iron. So, I mean, you get better labor saving PMs. You could do some of the sulfur chains, like the Sicily sulfur chain that the AI is doing. I think is super interesting, and like so they use sulfur to make the fertilizer, and then the fertilizer and sulfur to make the synthetics plants, and then in theory this is making dyes, right? And then they could come in and make cotton and silk, and then you know, make textile mills, which is like kind of this full chain, which you know, in particular might make you know, this province has a lot of sulfur, as well. Like if we look at potentials for sulfur, Saxony has a lot. So like Saxony, maybe we want to, you know, get something going on with like this, and then we're not making any like fertilizer here is the problem though. But you know, really huge amount of sulfur. Man, that's a lot of sulfur. I didn't realize Saxony had that much actually. Texas is like 80 oil. I think it's 50. What companies are you using? Juggling some, but the five. Oh, sorry. We're using this one definitely to try and get the bonus. We would like to get the bonus on the premium foods. We actually might start creeping up and getting a lot more profitability on this as we collapse grain prices, because we finally got some rice. I think the precious metal syndicate might be the best one. Just for the 10% minting, which is giving us like 30k income or whatever. We're using this one because tools are good. This one is another good one just for the bonus. And then we're using this because we're currently expanding out some of... what is it? We're currently expanding rice. We're trying to get on that 51 lifestyle. Let's get on that 51 lifestyle here, actually, as well. Although we should probably kick in a different bonus for this. So, which company do we want to ditch here? Maybe this one. And then, silken dyes. Something like this. But these two we're using for the construction bonuses, so. Japan IRC has a lot of oil and lead, think Chubu. What? Japan critically has a shortage of this. They do have lead, a decent amount of lead. Also, a lot of Japan has a good amount of logging. Like, the logging is, like, I think the most important thing of the chain at the start of the game. So any state that has over 20 logging and iron is, like, gonna be probably a good place to build early. Sulfur and oil, cheap Texas boom booms. Boom booms don't use oil, do they? Or do they have an oil PM? I know fertilizer has an oil. Ooh, fertilizer has an oil PM. Maybe that's something you could even consider there. I never use the fertilizer oil PM, but maybe it's better, especially now that the goods have been bifurcated. I mean, I guess we want to find a state here that has sulfur, because we're going to be building a fertilizer, right? I don't think there's much in that way. Fertilizer also uses iron, so... but like, maybe nitrogen fixation. Nah, this is just consuming way too much oil for it to feel, like, worth it. There's no way that this is, like, good. Any idea how to get your troops to attack a province in the 1.5 beta? You have to set them to have, you have to set a designate strategic objective, otherwise they don't attack. This is the rookie mistake you made. Classic, it not working the way it has the past forever. You love to see it. Atlantic seaboard. But yeah, that's how you make them advance. We'll try and see if we can fuck them up. Also, if their wargulls were subjugating, which they weren't, they just wanted to full conquer US, man. US going in Vietnam sounds familiar. Russian Caucasus oil fields, how much do they have? They have like 60. I think it's on Perm. Samara might have it. These two states, or like two of these states, have oil. I think it's a little bit less, if you're talking like down into the Caucasus. I think that it's not, this isn't where the big stacks are, but like, ooh, that's a good province now, right? Like, and if there's oil here in Greater Caucasus, looks like they also have silk and cotton, although you'd want to build just one, but just trying to think of like chains and like this type of thing. There isn't really that many states with lead and oil in good quantities. That's what I thought. Chubu with lead and oil. So let's take a look at Kuban. Yeah. And you'd also really want let's take a look at Samara, but nothing came to mind immediately, you know, to be honest. Samara doesn't even have lead. Imagine income that would give Gold Company if there isn't a minicamp. It also increases the throughput on all your, like, you get 20% throughput on all this, and then this is modified by the minting bonuses, so, like, getting $500,000 income right now. So... I've never seen a naval invasion fail. If we zoom in a little, we will see the American troops. Oh, the American troops are too slow. Where are they? Are they all trying to land? They'll almost surely succeed. We have to hope that their landings are a little bit staggered while we have our 182 stack here, otherwise it's going to do nothing. California doesn't have lead. They have sulfur and iron, I think. Yeah, they have sulfur iron. Really good state, though. But I think you're just supposed to extract out of California. I don't think you're supposed to try and build up tall there because of the construction malice. I could be mistaken though. Probably gonna continue another few minutes, but don't want to stay up too late. I was mainly doing this because the Europe crowd is doesn't get as good a stream time. What about the Middle East and vast amounts of oil? So there's not a lot of resources where there's this. So I think the name of the game is here is just extract. I think you just don't build tall here and you just kind of grip it and ship it, you know what I mean? Like there's no chain here to be had except for a ton of oil. So like, I mean, I guess you could produce glass here, but I would rather I mean, I guess we could take a look at glass. I mean, I actually think that it's going to be more mathematical, right? The way you look at things. But the bigger input is the lead, right? So you would rather ship oil and have lead. Also, if the market price of oil, remember, if the market price of oil is high, what you will end up, well, so this will affect on both ends, so maybe it doesn't matter, but I think it's better to specialize where most of the good expense is coming from, and in this case, because of the quantities, it's probably going to be lead most of the time, especially as the price of lead starts to creep up. The price of our lead isn't too high here, but yeah. Are we on the, okay, whatever. Yeah. Oh yes, 182,000 German soldiers casually crossing the Himalayas. You know, it's that extra level of realism in my games that I really come to know and love. Yeah, looks like we can't get guys to fronts in time. Hot damn. We love to see it. So we're just gonna get clapped if our guys can't get there. Can't really station them very close, I guess. I suppose we could do a little bit better. So this guy... So we can move the 69 stack here. Where? Okay, wait, no, we can move it here. These guys are currently trying to demobilize there. We'll also move the 58 stack here. So we'll start sending guys there. Maybe we'll even get in on Louisiana and then be able to get in. So this type of stuff. You meant Syria and Iraq? Oh, they don't have lead, I don't think, but they have sulfur. And they also have, like, silk and stuff like this. Well, so, but, okay, so here, I think, so these three provinces, I don't know if one of them has lead. No, no lead. This one has a lot of lead. A lot of resources in general. I don't know Isfahan. I don't think it gets oil, but it might. I know there's a few in the Persia that get it. I just don't know if that's one of them. Oh, is our army gonna get there? Yeah, baby. Military formation custom tooltip. What about Yemo for ammo and explosives? What was the idea? They don't have sulfur or lead. You want sulfur and lead for ammo and explosives. I think it's, oh my god. No, tragic. Now he has to go back. I wonder if the guys who we intentionally stationed there are gonna come in. But I guess we just are gonna have to just land the capital repeatedly. This is actually tedious, but if we land the capital, we'll hold it for a couple seconds. Or maybe we're just never winning this. Maybe this is the forever war. We'll just land a 3-stack there. I mean, we're okay with status quo because we want to protectorate them, so this is fine with us, I think. Let's see where we have insufficient tax. We are incorporating Delhi, so we're probably gonna do some of this. And then let's add some railways to Delhi. We're already adding a ton, so maybe that's fine. And then we want to pass laws, so we're probably gonna make this guy a communist. Which we can do. Our Intelligentsia is kicked up. Oh, what I was saying is, which one do we want to make the communist? Which one do we want to have potentially as our leader, the really liked guy, the Firebrand Reckless. We don't want the extra infamy generation, so we'll probably just do this guy. Grant leadership. Hot damn. He has leadership of the party. He shall now lead the party. And pass Council Republic. That's fat. We placate them. We try and pass it. I think this forces a rev, right? This will be more legitimate. We have another communist guy. No, not really. This will be... Okay. So, that'll pass fast, and we're hyper legit. But we pissed off them. Just crank up some construction efficiency in these places, I guess. Because, I don't know. Maybe afford it. Why SOL so low? Late game? No, the SOL has just been low this entire time. I mean, it did collapse when we annexed EIC, so that's why it collapsed. It was at 16, but the entire time SOL has been really depressed as a consequence of economies just being generally depressed. I was born in the Germany, molded by it. Because economies are just generally really depressed relative to live, because you have several construction's like 35+% more. In some instances, construction costs are like nearly double, like on the heavy industry, and so that depresses the economy. And the effects of MAPI for just globally also depress the economy. So we'll have this guy move back this way because he was already almost there. Maybe we can get him. So, yeah. We need a revolution. Well, this says really low support and radicalism, so I don't think that revs. I think we get through the Parliamentary Republic. Which, to be fair, this will boost SOL. Persica has a critical lack of wood, big sad. Yeah, I was doing some practice Persia runs, and this was like my evaluation. You know, I've never seen the Civil War kick off or the Warlord period kick off in Wiki 3. Warlord period, not sure what you mean. How much oil lead does Baku, Azerbaijan have? I don't think Azerbaijan has a lot. They have that amount of lead. Unless it's a split state, it might be split. No, I think Armenia is their own state. It's a little, not a conversation, perhaps. I think we could up taxes a little bit here. We're still hyper legitimate, so we have the communist boyo. We don't want wage subsidies. And we already have the other one. So path to socialism is complete, though. We've gone down this horrible path now. We've slept in our bed, now we have to make it. The classic communist struggle. When you sleep in your bed and now you have to make it. Looks like they haven't landed this yet, so maybe we have a chance here. We're pushing here. Ah, yes, but we do not push anything. I forget. I always forget. If you don't designate it as a strategic objective, you don't push, which is a thing. Chinese Civil War in 1900s till 45. I love wage subsidies. I do not. I like to be able to crank my institution up to max, and generally speaking, it causes problems when you crank it up to max. So, yeah. I mean, I think that we forgot to do survey skyscraper site. What's a little bit more? We could survey... I mean, we could survey Suez. This is actually, we really would want to open up this. So let's do that. Obviously, we're losing money, but, oh. Wait, what the fuck? Were we at 9K construction for my brain is not working properly. Oh no, what a problem. Oh my god, I forgot we actually care about, like, earnings, that we could actually, like, construct intelligently. What we did wasn't too bad. Let's just build a whole bunch more of those. I like old age mansions too, though. The Karen. I want to do a Karen run. Oh, that's the other meme run I wanted to do. Asked to talk to the manager. I have to write that down. I was like trying to figure out there's a Karen, like I knew there was a Karen run. Karen, okay. The warlord period in this this game happens if China fails fragile unity. There's no Chinese civil war though. Heavenly Kingdom is supposed to fire, but rarely does anymore. I don't know, it's super polarized. It seems to fire very, very frequently or very, very infrequently. Let's push to Illinois, I guess, because we have to push to something in order to actually fight battles or whatever. But now we're in on the USA, so... I mean, they could still in theory land Tonkin, our big armies over there, though. Compromising with the people. I think we'll take this. Another one play is I think that the convoy bonus might be pretty good. So, like, an extra 3k convoys doesn't seem like our premium foods aren't making anything, so we could just hit this in, and these will almost always be prosperous. And like this'll get us another 3k convoys, right? Can you form HRE? No, I don't think so. No. Not in this, or I mean, if your question is about divergences, you can do it in divergences. Maybe instead of have this, that this is the strategic objective. That way, we'll still have coastal access no matter what happens. We still have our huge army stationed over here. I think the fisheries bonus is good just because of it's for fisheries. I think the proportion of our economy that's fisheries is relatively small, though. Oh my god. What's my... Did they tweak this? 500 oil is gonna give an extra 10% on the convoys, roughly. Quite a lot of infrastructure. Oh, that's not that much oil in the grand scheme of our buy orders, right? Modern port used to suck. Maybe now it's okay. Well, it's gonna be another 700 oil. You know what? This might be a good thing to build where you have oil. Modern ports. Maybe it's best to have industrial ports everywhere, and then where you have oil, modern ports. Like if we're trying to think through, I think maybe you can auto expand rails, but like so for example, I'm pretty sure we have a port in one of these, right? We have a port here. They'd be better off on modern port, right? They'd actually cost less money than to shipping the coal over here, and then this will help to crank up the thing better. Now, I'm not saying we want to necessarily max out the ports here, but this seems reasonable to me, right? Because overall this is net positive. And then we can think about where we are producing oil, right? Which this is like an interesting phenomenon, right? When do we get intensive wool gathering? Mechanized farming? Oh, that's so interesting that we get a new PM on mechanized farming. That actually makes it a lot better. I hate that we can't swap PMs all at once. Bum 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 ba-da-dum ba-da-dum. Yeah, so we only have 210 like fishing wharves, right? I don't know. I think we're doing it for the convoys here, right? But Elbe, Hanover and Elbe, okay. The Shigzi has some oil. Congo, Gabon. There's actually a lot of places that have like 5, right? But that's like giving us a decent chunk of convoys. And we say Congo also has some oil. Gabon also has some oil. Interesting stuff. Morning, Paul. How's it going? Smart. Yeah, the fishing is limited. Yeah, but I think there needs to be like dual track analysis, like which has the best bonus and which is the best industry to have pumped up, right? And then this is how we're gonna evaluate the things. I have so much extra infrastructure. We're just gonna cap off Delhi. We do wanna like fully crank up there. I would not say fishing is limited. Always have way too much fish. What? You might not be building enough groceries then. I don't know. I mean, we can build more of it, but like, we just kind of have it now in places that we conquered. It was already fully expanded, and we only have like 200 fisheries, and like we have, you know, we have 1,000 iron mines, right? So I think we'd rather have an iron mine throughput than fishing throughput. And actually, maybe stacking throughput for like, at a certain point, whatever goods are expensive, you want to stack throughput for it, right? Like how many logging camps do we have, and how much would we benefit from 20% throughput? Logging and fish disproportionately benefit from throughput, because the more throughput you have on something, the less useful throughput is. But we see we have like 700 logging camps. I guess that's not a lot. And so maybe we want to start thinking about stuff from like a throughput perspective. We could always just disband this. We have our trade routes will just wind down a bit. And like we could instead get more throughput on, like, this place just boosting throughput on all of these is just insane. I don't know. I think we want to get rid of the Agricultural Development Society though pretty soon here. So let's just kind of come in and build a lot more rice farms up to level 51, and then toot it and get out of here with that. Look at earnings. Ah, no, stop moving around. had fun in learning quite a bit. I think Persia is province with lead and oil. Does this one have oil too? This is the question I was asking earlier. If so, this province is really good. Unfortunately, you don't have any wood. Wood is the most important. Like, I don't know. It's pretty punishing overall. Of course, the UK needs some help. We will be there to help them. Do we not? Are we missing something? Where are you at, Karen? Ah, that's the Karen uprising. But it looks like it's occupied. Just not by us. You have Suez Canal built? I do not. I need to build that. We are doing it right now for the journal. Suez survey. But yeah, that is a thing. To be fair, I don't see my benefit with canals other than faster troop movement. It decreases the convoys required. So right now our convoys have to go around Africa to get to India. And it allows it connects this C node and this C node, which allows transport of convoys through it. I think it has 30 oils. Khorasan. This does not have lead though. Is a problem. It has sulfur. How many pops migrate within your country? Is it worth it to build over the peasant limit to try and centralize pop to negate MAPI? I don't know what you mean by build over the peasant limit. I'm sorry. I don't know what you mean. Apologies. Oh, baby. God, I'm not gonna lie. Swapping everything by hand does not feel like, I forgot all the icons look the same. Oh, they're on trench somehow. That makes sense. Oh, did we have these on? We gotta subsidize. Got some problems. We'll put down an industrial port, right? I think he means have no surplus pops. Yeah, well, they do increase consumption a lot. It's limited to the amount of peasants you can have. Thanks. I mean, I think these rice farms are bananas. Bananas. And just like super out of line. And these are de-peasanting the pops really quick, which is increasing demand, which is like increasing purchase orders for like stuff like clothing, because the peasants consume less, they have less buy orders for stuff. And so there's this. No MAPI, less problems. But this building, I don't think, I would not be building infinite rice farms if they didn't construct twice as fast as they should. This building's so dumb. I can't believe. I mean, I'm fine with them being more slot efficient, because they're more slot efficient too, because they only use one agricultural slot, despite having double the inputs and outputs. I'm fine with that, but like, on a construction basis, they're just obscene, so like, I just don't... I'm just not jiggy with it. I think we're kind of done with our rice construction though, no? Yeah, so we crank it and stanked it, and so now we're gonna disband, and now we're going to have another company, and I think maybe we want to just grab a company just for, I think we actually want this one, right? The Metal Mining Consortium, because it's gonna give us steel mills throughput. Yeah, I think we want that. I wish we could rearrange these, but it's also going to give us throughput on our buildings. Like, so if we take a look here, these are going to get another 10% throughput, 3% from companies, and 2 competing companies, it gives half. But this is going to mean we get this 30% throughput, so we're suddenly making way more iron, right? Which is also going to be the power of Germany, because Germany has... Right, they have 2 iron companies, and they also have 2, well, they have 2 of these companies, but these, like, things aren't as good. They get the offense and defense, but, looks like they enforced. Good shit. Now we can dominion you immediately. I think we still have really high infamy. Yeah, we're still just chilling. Just annexing that, but... So in terms of really good companies, this one also seems... really good, because steel mill's throughput is pretty solid, especially because steel is a little bit sensitive to the MAPI, because its inputs and outputs are, yeah. Paradox needs to nerf rice farms now. I agree. This is out of line. If it's not in the next, like, major patch, like, I just don't know what I'm gonna be very upset somewhere. I guess not upset. I mean, like, I get to meme run, but it's just, like, not correct. Like, it's just a mistake. It's, like, it shouldn't be this way. You know, like, it's... I don't know how else to put it. I feel very strongly about this. What was our bonuses for... Silk and dyes. Okay, so we'll produce both of those in Delhi right now. Or we'll produce some of these to the front of the queue. Really cheap transportation. And then we're just going to eat the inefficiency of the chain on engines. Or actually, I guess we're not, because we produce engines locally. What the fuck? We'll swap to this, though. Land trade capacity is pretty good, so I think that's always been in there, though. But now, getting the construction sector, these techs are also a lot better, considering you're going to have some place with super depressed steel price, right? So when you unlock these, it unlocks an opportunity to have a way cheaper... Like, look at this. You see all of our cheapest places are plus 25. I think that this is so cool that it's like this, so we're just going to, like, blast these out, you know? But these are our places that are producing a ton of steel, because they have the good inputs for, like, the chain, and so, like, we'll just, get a little max keep on this. Of course, we just, like, blast through Council Republic. This is the easiest Council Republic, I've ever done. Rice farms are pretty OP in life, too. I mean, they require a ton of effort. One of the reasons that Asian societies tend to be more communal is that, it requires a much bigger communal effort to make terrace farming work. But, like, I don't have they require more effort, maybe they should have more construction, you know? Like, it requires way more overall time. Also, effort in to rice out is much more proportional than wheat, which is, like, the more Western farms, which are just, like, put it in and make it. I don't know how rice makes sugar. Tell me how that works. Let's see, what's the name of the building? What's the name of the PM here? They have fig orchards in the middle. Because everyone knows you put fig orchards in the middle of rice. Rice is a catch-all, it includes sugar cane. I believe the sugar plantation is sugar cane, no? Just how lead includes copper, it's a generalization. Okay. There's competing industries penalty? Yeah, but it's like, it still encourages you to specialize more, right? For when they actually fix companies to not, like, because there should be a malice for swapping around, and eventually there will be, and you'll just pick your company and sit with it, and so, like, it might still be worth it to, like, stack them for the bonus, but, you're adamant that Krupp is the best company in the game? Well, it's okay to be wrong. It actually might be the best in the game. I don't know. This one might be really good. I think the metal mining consortium is also really good. And the oil one is really good too. Migration attraction's not like a shit penalty or bonus. Buff rice more? No, absolutely not. Guy needs to play Ethiopia. Maybe they'll just hold me hostage. They'll say, we're not nerfing the rice until you play Ethiopia. How to get generalists to do things. Do we have a bunch of... No, we don't have a bunch of government admins in the queue. Holy schnatzel. Construction balance in these states is gonna suck. Gonna take forever to build this. Political movement restore rice farms? Never. Makes no sense as you have to flood a field to make rice. Monsoon season. If you stack the curia with your cardinals, then when the Pope dies, you have a chance to be from your country. This gives lower infamy. Wait, what? We're talking about a different game now. EU4 trauma. We are gonna go until 10 p.m. my time. So we're gonna be done soon here, I think. Yeah, way more effort to flood massive amounts of land to get rice to grow. Yeah, so like, if people want to say rice is way more efficient, my counter argument is I don't have a problem with the slot efficiency. Like on a per hectare, like what basis, right? Rice being more efficient. I don't have a problem with this. I have a problem with the construction cost. I'm pretty sure fig orchard implies that they allocate land away from the rice to make figs, and that's why it makes less grain. Yeah, I take that as the implication as well. Could us just hemorrhage a ton of money because we're at tax waste. Too rich to fix our economy. Sounds like an American problem. I think we're just gonna demand our thing. And then maybe we swap off of the convoys. The 10% convoys is giving us like 4K convoys though, so this is getting used on trade routes. I guess maybe because Paradox wants people to actually go through the agrarianism phase and industrialization. That does not seem to be the case given the rest of the makeup of the game. But rice farms are a problem specifically. Okay, so rice farms are a problem because they produce... Okay, so the rice farm change was they doubled the employment, they doubled the inputs, they doubled the outputs. And all of this is reasonable. But what they didn't do is they did not double the construction costs. So now it costs the same as a millet farm. We could see millet farm plus 6 per level, 75 per level, 9 per level. Here we have 12 per level, 170 per level, 18 per level. And we see that the inputs are also doubled. Tools, it goes from 1 to 2, and fertilizer from 15 to 40. It's roughly double. Rice farms, to begin with, were more efficient than millet farms. And now they just doubled it. And so, but you can see, also double the amount of people required to do it. Although less aristocrats, or the same number of aristocrats, so there's this. This actually might have some sort of effect that's like pretty substantive as well, but let's skim over that for now. It does not cost twice the construction, so why would you ever build 2 millet farms when you could instead build 1 rice farm? You know what I mean? There's the game is supposed to be about choices, and now if you are producing any grain and that grain is not rice, you're probably making a game error. You're probably making a mistake. Like, and to me, this is not indicative of wanting you to go through an agrarianism phase. It's wanting you to. It's the weeb buff. They just want people to play only Japan and China. I can tear my hair out. I'll just make a Japan and China run every single batch. So, yeah, the change was specifically to make rice farms not totally useless to build in countries in Asia. Rice farms were already like the best grain. Like the PM was the best, but the problem with the rice farm was that they I mean, you play, you know the problem, but the problem is they roll over they fire 10,000 pops, and they only employ 5,000. And so what they made it is the change seems to be to solve the unemployment issue. This seems to be the thing, so that when you build a rice farm, because you're running out of grain, you don't like fire a bunch of pops. But now, like, you can't build anything but rice out here anyways now, because here, this has subsistence rice paddies. Also, by the way, Shaanxi and Beijing have subsistence rice paddies, but they produce wheat, so they actually can't benefit from this, like these two provinces specifically, which actually make it so that it might be better to take different provinces off of, like, Xing, or it might be better to take, like, Beijing and then, like, a rice province. But this is a bit of a digression, right? The problem is, it's like, what they needed to do is make it so every place that has subsistence rice paddies, all of their stuff is double the construction cost and double the employment. This is the fix. Like, this is the real fix, right? So that this tea plantation, for example, double construction cost, double inputs, double outputs. And all of this so that you don't absolutely, like, wreck yourself. But at this point, why not just double... At this point, why not just double the arable land instead? And nerf the subsistence rice farms back to where they were. Like, I don't know. Like, it's specifically making the grain spectacular that they want to do, I guess, or something like this. Yes, they want to, but there's no point, because you need iron and wood to make tools, and you need tools for the iron. You might as well get rails as soon as you can. Yeah. You could probably build millet farms to enclose a bunch of peasants to force them to migrate to urban centers. I mean, at this point, I think every single run, a feature of that run will be getting a place where you can build rice and only ever building grain there, and this sort of thing. Makes sense because you want your consumption in urban areas. Yeah, you just ship it out there and you tolerate the MAPI because it's 2 buildings for the price of 1. If you're afraid of France, you can use Zeppelin's offense bonus to fight them. Good old Zeppelin. Finally does something. I think we'll play until we get Council Republic here. So we keep the rice farms the same and have the construction cost of the other grains. I'd be okay. Well, I'd be kind of okay with this, but I'd generally be okay. Then they would be disgustingly out of line. Here, let's jump into the other thing. They would be disgustingly out of line with, like, other agricultural goods. So this is pre-buff, where this is the rice farms before they doubled the inputs and the outputs. They had their output per construction was 243, which was already really high. Now it's like 480 output per construction on base goods price. Well, you depress the goods price, and so it doesn't actually contribute as much to your GDP. But this is the PM. The most efficient PM in the game is OPM, which gives 275. If they did this would actually make everyone just build a ton of grain. Like, it would become grain farm simulator to some extent. Which, I mean, I guess you could do if you would depress the price of grain. Man, you'd really depress the price of grain late game when it gets hyper depressed. But I guess you could do this if you wanted. Jake, at that point, at the very least, it would be in line. Like, everything would be in line. But currently, if you are building grain anywhere but Asia, you're just making a mistake. Like, you're playing the game wrong. Or, I mean, you're memeing. I don't know. Like, it's more slot efficient, and it's also more it's just better. Like, it's not even like what is a suitable offer, anyways? Isn't it proportional to my economy? $30,000? Okay, that's fine with me. I just want it. Give me that. Did Qing Empire actually have massive unemployment in the 1830s? I don't know. Conquer China for the rice is something I never thought I'd hear. It's something I thought I'd never have to say, but we live in strange times. Oh, how how the Barodan peasant revolt. Can make Baroda a subject, maybe. Sure. The Grand Army. Something like this might be okay. Get a little side ski against us. Switzerland wants a defensive pact, they're calling in an obligation. Okay, fair enough. Canada sides with Great Britain. Come on, guys. Can't we just get along? We're trying to help a rebellion here. Belgium sides with, man. Belgium, why'd you gotta... Why you gotta do us dirty like this? Don't want to over-mobilize, guys. Gonna land behind with like our 3 stack and or our 5 stack. 5 stack can do some of this. Did we see a communist? We're recruiting a communist because they'll be really happy with us right now. Or like feel like there should be a reason to go to even look at agri. Agriculture is better now with MAPI because of if you have really low MAPI, agricultural stuff becomes better because the margins are wider, especially in multiplayer environment where other people actually construct stuff. So famines are good in Victoria 3. Yeah, you get 0 decree costs. It's not fixed. I did it in 1.5. We messed around with it. I do it in the Japan run, I think next episode. We see Spain, what can we offer? What are you doing here? Subjugate Siak. Oh, this is so dirty. We could just ask for become subject, and this will brick their war goal. So we don't have to do anything there. We see Bhutan versus Bhutan Liberal Revolts. I guess France siding with Spain is not, how should they say, the bee's knees. So I guess we'll move this army back here. And that might change things a little bit. The 182 stack was over there. Now we'll move it here. Seems like we're kind of fighting a lot of people. Actually, but what we can do is as soon as... Yeah, we can just capitulate instantly. What are we doing? Their war goal has already been bricked. We just capitulate immediately. That's fine. On this one. So this is A-okay. We're fine with all this. Something like that. I feel like you should be able to have cooperative ownership in parliamentary republic instead of having to go council republic. Maybe. Now everyone hates us. We've gone communist Germany. I hate the fucking puke color that you get when you go communist. Do want to do this because our economy is getting depressed. Maybe they'll just back down. I mean, there's no... Oh, transfer SIAC they put in? But they got extra infamy for this? That's funny. So they'll transfer Siak as a as a protectorate. That's lolzy. I mean, I guess we might just capitulate because we have this. I don't know how many guys are on that front. I guess we'll have to check. Maybe we could just fight it. We got a lot of in the North Germany front. We got a lot of dudes. Oil discovered in Hanover. Oil's the future. You can technically. You just have to pass cooperative ownership, then return. Yeah. Something like famine drastically hammering the sub farms, dealing with Rev. Yeah, that's just. There's going to make an argument that to be made to famines pacify a population rather than make them revolt. Britain avoided Irish Revolution through the Irish famine. Stream over? Yeah. We're going to end it. I don't want to run it too late. I mean, I kind of want to keep playing and like just finish out this war, but this war is like kind of a nothing. We're just like going to be like taking over making Baroda a subject of ours, and then this war with Spain isn't too important, although, I mean, I guess we're gonna be in a little bit of a hard time. We get For the Motherland, we get the Red Army. I mean, generally I don't like to end streams and stuff when I'm at war, though. I think we'll do that. And then Atlantic Seaboard, it's kind of close. North German is kind of close. So that'll go. Really hate that you cannot land with mobilized guys. Wasn't 1848 triggered by the potato famine? Can you pay Ethiopia next stream? No, I kind of want to continue this run and make it like through to the later technologies. Well, do we need to see the military technologies? They all seem kind of broken, to be honest. And have we seen all this? Maybe we could do something different next. I don't know if it's Ethiopia, but we could maybe do something different. I guess we've kind of seen a lot of the stuff. The getting the final MAPI is like a pretty big deal, I think. Lay the foundations, my guys. Oh, I forgot. It's not built yet, but we can, of course. Airship mooring post. Yeah, baby. Although I agree that starvation population is unlikely to rise up, the problem is the star in the population is dying, migration away too fast, which will leave the territory worse off. Keeps going, why not? Why? Because it's late. You can't get me to the climax and then stop, that's rude. What do you mean? The climax is getting communist. We did climax. I mean, I'm saying I need a towel is what I'm saying. I guess we could play through cooperative ownership. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we won't. I have to be more disciplined. The streams generally don't do as well as like making videos. I might make a video after the stream. I just like to do the streams because I can interact with people, and I like to do that because I don't get to do it too much. Looks like we're cranking up here. Is our SOL... No, our SOL didn't respond super hard to getting cooperative ownership. Actually, this is probably a good time to stop because we can go full commie next episode, and then we can see the effects of it and kind of take a look at things. Overall, I'm like, there's some things I found like delightful this episode, so I guess we'll just talk a little bit more, but then we're going to kind of conclude it. One of which is that, you know, in places that are producing oil, it's cheaper to have a modern port than an industrial port because you have the local oil production, which is also going to make the oil more profitable if it could pull it away from the -75 equilibrium, which might not be the case. Do your thing, bro. I'll watch regardless. Thanks, Dallas. And so that was pretty cool. We also talked about electricity quite a bit throughout the stream, which was a little bit neat. I guess we can kind of continue this. We'll just let this run and not really like pay too much attention to micromanagement. Wow, you recreated Germany and Middle Africa. Was that intentional? Depends what you mean by... German, Middle Africa. I'm not sure exactly what you're referring to here. It's just a normal looking Africa to me. Except I actually don't know what you're saying. You're saying it's the same shape as Germany? Kinda. No, I just meant to try and get it all. Or you mean over here? Yeah, TNO. But yeah, I think we're gonna conclude it here. It's been fun. I mean, we're cranking up the GDP slowly but surely. Generally super depressed relative to, like, kind of normal states of affairs. Although we are making a lot of money right now. Why are we making so much money? Wait, what the fuck? Okay. Dividends taxes went up. Well, dividends taxes if consumption improved. That's not a reason. Why are we making so much more money? Goods for military buildings, it's kind of down. Subsidies down. Subsidies are down a little. Okay, pops are consuming more transportation maybe. Diplomatic pacts. Interest is down a little. Well, that's fair enough. Additional expenses are up. Construction goods have gone down. Don't have an explanation for why that would be the case. Huh, that's weird. Okay. But Germany actually owned Middle Africa before World War I. Like here? Interesting. Middle Africa. I guess Pelea must be German too, huh? Considering, given the times he's always on. That makes sense. And you guys have a ton of conversations while I'm sleeping. Whoop, whoop. I guess the best company is dependent on how you play. The gold company might be the best specific parts of the game, but minting hits its cap, it becomes less valuable. 100%, it definitely becomes less valuable. In the Japan run, we're right where we hit 200 million GDP, which is where the minting cap comes in, and so that is insane. It really just seems absolutely bananas. But like now, like we have over 1,000 iron mines. Having both of these iron things is just probably really good, right? Oh, maybe that's why we're making so much money. Maybe that's what decreased the costs? That's incredible if it is. Ugh. Those are kind of like a huge pain in the dick. Anyways, gonna conclude the stream. Have a good one, you guys. We'll maybe be back on Saturday. I think we'll be Saturday morning in the normal stream time slot, and then Sunday following that for the 3v3v3 conclusion of the finals. We'll see who does the things. Above South Africa? Okay, so like Ireland and here? Yeah. Okay. Hot. I'm thinking the construction bonuses on coal, iron, and steel is from Coop is insane for early game economy. Yeah, early game, it just seems absolutely insane. Makes Prussia a lot better. It's interesting to think which countries are going to be best in the 3v3, this type of thing. But, Godspeed. Adieu. Farewell. Au revoir.